your aircraft maintenance partners at Augusta Municipal Airport. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Good Friday morning. A California man is facing decades in prison when he's sentenced for making hoax emergency calls, including one that led Wichita police to fatally shoot a Wichita man. Tyler Barris is set to be sentenced today in federal court at Wichita. The 26-year-old California man has pleaded guilty to 51 counts related to fake calls and threats. Wichita police say a 33-year-old man died after an accident at Kellogg and I-135 shortly before 10 o'clock yesterday morning involving an SUV and a car. Police say an SUV stalled out on the eastbound Kellogg lanes and was partially blocking the lanes when police say the car coming from the southbound I-135 ramp struck the rear of the SUV. The man in the car was critically injured and later succumbed to his injuries. 2 women and an infant in the SUV were not injured in the crash. And 25 years in prison, the sentence handed down to Miranda Miller yesterday, the mother convicted in the death of her 3-year-old son, Evan Brewer, who was found encased in concrete. I'm Rick Everett. Now sports.
The opening day of baseball went great for the Kansas City Royals. They got 7 strong innings, 7 scoreless innings out of right-hand starter Brad Keller as the Royals beat the White Sox 5-3. Royals are off today. They resume the series with the White Sox on Saturday. 1:15 will be the first pitch. Gonzaga, Purdue, Texas Tech, and Virginia all punched their ticket to the Elite Eight, winning last night in the Sweet 16. Another round of Sweet 16 games happens today in the NCAA tournament. The Shockers start a 3-game series with Bethune-Cookman today at X Stadium. First pitch today at 12 noon. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Whether it's your home or your business, from roofing to foundation repair, Romani Construction of Wichita makes the process of construction or home and business improvement easy. Romani Construction involves you in the process from concept to completion. Better Business Bureau accredited, Romani Construction specializes in roofing, fire and water restoration, foundation repair, and concrete, and is locally owned and operated. From setting a start date when things actually get started to completing your project on time, call Romani Construction of Wichita, 252-7972.
You can't handle the truth!
Hi, this is Phil Martinez at Phil's Coins. At the shop, we talk all the time about honesty and integrity. And in our shop, we've decided that honesty means nothing without integrity. So what I would tell you is that if you didn't bring your coins to Phil's Coins, honestly, you didn't get enough money for what you have. Come see us at Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central, or online at philscoins.com.
For nearly 2 decades, NextEra Energy Resources has proudly partnered with Kansas to fuel economic growth. Yes, friends, today that company's looking to continue that growth by developing a new wind energy center in Reno County. Hey, I've personally met many folks at NextEra. They're good people. Company's doing a lot of good in our state. The Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center will contribute millions of dollars to Reno County and create hundreds of good-paying jobs. Wind energy, you know, is very compatible with farming, and the Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center will add great value to the community. The Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center represents an opportunity to harness the natural American wind resource, improve local roads, schools, and help residents provide for their families. Folks, the Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center means a big investment in Reno County and a big boost to the local economy.
March is a good time to stock up on meat for the year with great prices on beef and pork at Yoder Meats. Get quarters and sides of beef and pork to fill your freezer with prices much lower than retail meat anywhere. Local cattle and hogs processed in Yoder, Kansas to your specific order. Simple, all-inclusive pricing that covers the meat and processing. Pick up at your favorite Yoder Meats location. Call 620-465-3807 to get more information or place your order today. Follow us on Facebook. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
Preliminary findings from the Boeing 737 MAX 8 crash in Ethiopia suggest that a flight control feature automatically activated before the plane nosedived into the ground. Correspondent Robin Creel says the Wall Street Journal reports the findings were released at a high-level meeting of the FAA.
For Boeing, this would be a real double-edged sword. It's a sign of the same problem that MCAS failing in both the Lion air crash and the Ethiopian air crash here, which occurred on the 10th of March. But at the same time, maybe also a sign of relief, because at least it's not something else that could be wrong with the plane.
President Trump is backing off his budget request to cut funding for the Special Olympics. The president said he has overridden his people and will fund the program. South Korean President Kim Jae-in is coming to Washington next month for a summit on North Korean nuclear diplomacy. He's scheduled to visit the White House April 10th and 11th. I'm Evan Haining.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Derby Mattress. No dancing animals, no gimmicks. Your locally owned hometown mattress store at 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, showers and storms likely, mostly cloudy the rest of the day, high near 72, winds up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy and 55, showers and storms likely as well, rain likely tomorrow and possibly a storm. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 6:06, it's currently 52 degrees.
Hey, join me for the Mike Gallagher Show right here on the Big Talker, KQAM, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM.
It's time for Reason.
But there are very basic principles, and I call for the Republican Party to strip the Republican members of their party affiliation, because this is sad. This is not bravery. This is cowardice, because you didn't stand up for a basic principle of what you said you believed in. To run under a false flag, to fool the people of the electorate, to fool the constituents on what they thought they were voting for as a Republican and a member of the Republican Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. It is a Friday, and what the heck happened, man? I thought it was nice and beautiful outside, and then it just opens up rain, and it starts doing its thing. It is springtime here. But it's not really springtime. It's really just global warming. It's really just global warming that's causing the rain right now outside the KQAM studios. I don't quite get it. AOC, we're wrong. We are sorry. We apologize. Please, AOC, please come and change this and make us an energy-efficient company and energy-efficient city. So, therefore, we can try and stop the rain each and every day that's happening during the springtime thunderstorms or something. Hey, welcome into the Voice Reason. It is a Friday, which means it is a free-for-all Friday. Let's have a little fun today. What do you say? Come on. As usual, today's your day to talk about whatever you want to, bothering you, troubling you. I am your political therapist. We'll have some fun, work through it together. Yeah, that's right. Come on, baby. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. If you want to join into the program, I want to hear from you today. We have a lot to get to, a lot of fun to be had. Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, he'll be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour today. We have our Pass It or Ax It in hour number 2, kind of an interesting one today as well, so we'll have some fun with that. And this morning, first off, welcome in and good morning to you as you're starting off, trying to wake up, trying to get going. It's really difficult with the dreary weather as well. It really is. I love it during the day. I love the storms. I love the feel of the storms during the day. But when you're trying to wake up in the morning, it just makes you that much more dreary. You don't even know that it's dreary outside. You just feel it. You're like, really don't want to get up as much today. So I'm going to help you. We'll try and get going as the best we can today right here on the show. 316-721-8255. I want to start off with this. First off, it is a great day for America. And I say that genuinely because I love America each and every day, as you do as well. We drink red, white, and blue, and no, it is not some type of disease. And no, we do not bleed red, white, and blue as in being an infection. But we do love it because we are nationalists. We are patriots each and every day. And we love the direction, usually, in a general direction that the country goes. Not the government per se, but the nation as a whole and what we do as a actual nation. President Donald Trump, I got to say, I love this guy for one reason, is that when he wins a battle, he takes it and he drives it as hard as he can into the back of the opponent that he's having, because you know what? That's just what you do in a world of business. When you get a business deal and a business contract, you celebrate and you rub it in the face of all your competitors that have lost out on the deal because they were not part of such a great deal. That's what President Donald Trump has done as president when he wins. And now that the collusion is over, the Russian collusion's done, the media not having any way to like counter this and say, well, Bob Mueller, I don't know, no, he wasn't really the best guy to do this. And now we're going to open up independent investigations, and Congress is going to come out and do more investigations. When they try and come out with this, don't you realize they think that they even realize the desperation that's bleeding out of their mouth? So what does President Trump do? He holds a rally, gets over 11,000 people to show up to this rally, and he not just a rally, but he goes to a rally in one of the most blue Democrat-dominated areas that he ended up winning in the 2016 election, because the media never thought that Michigan would actually go Republican and go towards Donald Trump. He goes right into the heart of the beast, one of the most progressive states in the nation, in Michigan, runs out with a crowd of over 11,000 people in a massive arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and talks about how the hoax is finally dead and how we're winning. Remember, we're going into presidential election season. 2020 is the race. June is the first Democratic presidential debate. We're already looking here. The latest poll shows that Joe Biden, without even announcing his run, is up by double digits against anybody else, following by Bernie Sanders and Beto O'Rourke. He's up by over Bernie Sanders. That's crazy, because Bernie Sanders is that whole revolution thing going on. Joe Biden's just like, hey, I was with the Barack Obama administration, and oh, by the way, I'm just, Grandpa Joe. Everybody loves Grandpa Joe. He's nuts, but people love him. He's not the brightest in any way, shape, or form, but people still love him for some reason. But Donald Trump, hey, you know what? Take this. I'm going to go right into the heart of your beast, right into Democrat territory, right into Michigan, hold a crowd of over 11,000 people that turn out for this thing in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then hold a rally and talk about how the hoax is finally dead. I don't know if the media realizes this or not, but they are losing. The Democrats, I don't know if they realize this or not, but they are losing. We are united as a Republican Party. We are united to get our Donald Trump reelected, and the Democrats are so torn right now, they don't know what direction to go. The media just a week ago ran a story saying that they're finally beginning to warm up, the establishment beginning to warm up to Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is going to run away with the nomination. The media is all about Bernie Sanders. They love him to death. They think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because they love the idea of stale bread in the lines that we'd have to wait for in lines in order to receive, because that's what they love is socialism. They want to be at the top of that tier, being, hey, we're part of the awesome administration here. Well, everybody else has to worry about their stale bread, and we'll talk about how great and efficient the lines actually work, as Bernie Sanders has done when he talked about the Soviet Union 20, 30 years ago. When he talked about Cuba 20, 30 years ago. It's great. Yeah, they got the lines, and it's fantastic. It runs really smoothly. At least everybody's getting to eat. They get to stand in line. They get their bread, and it's pretty fantastic. They even give them vodka at times, too, in Russia. It's pretty fantastic. I love it, according to Bernie Sanders. But with the Hill.com, former Vice President Joe Biden holds a double-digit lead over the rest of the 2020 Democratic field in the new poll released as of yesterday. In the University poll, Biden, what is it, the Quinnipiac, whatever, University poll, Joe Biden heads up the pack with the support of 29% of registered Democrats, while Bernie Sanders comes in second place with 19%. Do you realize how much of a gap that is? You realize how much of a gap that is? Former Representative Beto O'Rourke, who announced his bid for the presidency in November, said that he's in third place at 12% behind Bernie Sanders. Kamala Harris had a nice little run at the very beginning. She got some nice support in California right off the bat. That's starting to diminish. Now we have Joe Biden, who's not running, Bernie Sanders, which is expected, and Beto O'Rourke, which is a little surprising. Although I did warn you that we need to be very wary of this guy, because he is a very smooth talker. He's just as progressive as Bernie Sanders. Or really, Joe Biden is too, isn't he? We have three candidates right now that are the front runners for the Democrats that are all about as progressive as each other, all of them wanting socialized health care, all of them wanting open borders, all of them wanting to repeal the Second Amendment, all of them wanting higher taxes, all of them wanting to go after corporations. It's all the same rhetoric. It's just which flavor of it do you like the most? Bernie Sanders started the revolution. Beto looks a little bit better and is a little flashier. Joe Biden is kind of... But by the way, too, just another thought here. Do you realize that the leaders of the Democratic Party right now, all a bunch of old white guys, except for Beto? I mean, he's the flashy, like, hipster kind of guy. But then you have two extremely old white guys and another guy that is a younger, cool hipster white guy that pretends to be Hispanic. You ever put that together? I thought that they were like the inclusive party that wanted like a black, lesbian, gay person. I don't know. Very interesting to me. So the polls show that Joe Biden's in the lead while Donald Trump are rocking it, and I love it. Why not go to the heart of the beast? Why not go right into the heart of Democratism place and rock it? Because I guarantee he's going to win Michigan again in the 2020 election. 316-721-8255. He it went after the Russian collusion, saying it was ridiculous BS. He made fun of some people. The collusion is finally over. I haven't seen the media lately, but I'm curious to see what the media has been doing to respond to this. I don't know. I don't know what they've done to respond to some of this stuff about, are they still talking about it on the Sunday show? I guess we'll find out this Sunday. We'll find out if Meet the Press, Chuck Todd is still saying, well, there's Russian collusion. Of course there is, and the investigation's still going to continue on with Congress. I wonder. I don't know. Maybe they could. We got a lot to get to today. We have the Supreme Court that's going to decide not to rule on the bump stock ban. What does that mean for the bump stock, and does the ban actually going to continue on? Or like we predicted yesterday, maybe, just maybe, that it'll drop off after a while when they realize that they're not going to get a whole lot of buybacks, when people are going to be standing strong trying to hold on to it, and they don't know where they're at. So I'm curious to see where the bump stock ban is going to go, but the Supreme Court not going to make a ruling on that one. We have the GDP that's the media loving the fact that it's not quite as high as what Trump wanted it to be. Not that it's still bad, but it's not as high as what they wanted, so therefore it's a failure and a knock on Trump, which is really silly. So we'll talk about that. We also have, by the way, at the legislative level here in Kansas, Senate Bill 22, the tax cut that went on that Governor Kelly vetoed. The Senate is going to vote to override that veto on Monday, which means we need to make some phone calls ASAP today, or first thing Monday morning, but really today. Make those phone calls for that veto override vote for Senate Bill 22 for the tax cuts in the Senate. Also, speaking of, there is a South Central delegation forum, legislative forum, tomorrow at the Wichita Public Library on South Meridian, and I highly recommend, if you have an opportunity to go to this meeting. I'm going to try and make it as well, but the Republicans, I got this sent to me from a couple different legislators asking, hey, can you mention this? Can you please get some Republicans there, because we need help. We need our voice to be heard at the South Central Legislative Forum. If you remember, we did this at the courthouse right before the legislative session started, and most people can go and they can speak and they can talk about what issues they have or what questions they may have, that sort of thing. This is the time for us to do it again, as we have the tax bill, we have education funding, and we have Medicaid expansion that are all going to be happening in the next month. Go. It's the South Central Legislative Forum tomorrow from 10:30 to 12:30 at the Wichita Public Library on South Meridian. Highly recommend you go. I'm going to try and make it as well. Let's show up. Let's have a great Republican conservative presence, and let's let our legislators know how frustrated we are. No gut-and-go bills with Medicaid. Not a single penny more for education. Not a single tax hike in any way, shape, or form, and that includes blocking tax reductions in order to prevent tax hikes. All of that needs to be brought up and mentioned in this forum tomorrow morning. So definitely try and go to that. We'll talk about that throughout the show today as well. Lots of stuff to get to. We have a fun Pass It or Exit today. We have Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, coming in at 8 o'clock as well. It's a heck of a show today. What do you think? I want to get your phone calls as well as a free-for-all Friday, meaning that today you can talk about any topic that you want to. Whatever's bothering you or troubling you, you can do that right here on the show. Happy Friday morning to you. This is The Voice of Reason.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Good morning. Well, the United States Department of Agriculture and the state of Nebraska have activated a special disaster version of the SNAP program. We get that story from Gary Crawford.
Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts says the flooding in his state has brought on
the most widespread destruction we've ever experienced in our state's history.
And that state and the U.S. Department of Agriculture are beginning another phase of efforts to make sure that residents dealing with the destruction get the food they need. This time, it's what's called a
Disaster SNAP program,
or DSNAP for short. Steve Horton runs emergency programs for USDA's Food and Nutrition Service. SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly called Food Stamps. Horton says DSNAP will help restore full benefits to households who were in the SNAP program before the disaster, but also some households who haven't participated in SNAP may be able to get a month of SNAP benefits.
If they have had losses, maybe things like loss of income, damage to their property, relocation expenses, and even in some cases loss of food due to power outages, they can go to a central DSNAP site operated by the state and apply to receive DSNAP benefits.
Horton says affected households should watch for information from the state as to when and where to apply for DSNAP benefits. Gary Crawford, Washington.
Farmers, where do you go when you need top quality seed with a large selection? Kaufman Seeds. Call us for all your wheat, corn, soybeans, grain sorghum, forage, cover crops, oats, barley, triticale, and alfalfa. If we don't have what you're looking for, let us help you find it. No order is too large or too small. Call Kaufman Seeds at 800-634-2836. 800-634-2836.
Coming spring 2019.
Hail.
Ouch. Oh.
Wind. Freezing temperatures. Tornadoes. That's mayhem.
Hi, I'm Mark Collier, your local Allstate agent. We're your insurance agency interested in doing what's best for you. Before mayhem strikes, call us at our Goddard office, 316-413-4014, and find us on Facebook at Collier Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Right now, it still gets cold and it's hard to keep things hot. Pretty soon, though, it'll be hot and hard to keep things cold. Be ready with the latest from Yeti at Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays. When you want the best in temperature control, one name stands above the rest. And when it comes to Yeti, Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays has you covered. From mugs to jugs, coolers to flips, backpacks, and more. Pride Ag Ace Hardware is your Yeti store. The store that takes pride in serving you. Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays.
March is a good time to stock up on meat for the year with great prices on beef and pork at Yoder Meats. Get quarters and sides of beef and pork to fill your freezer with prices much lower than retail meat anywhere. Local cattle and hogs processed in Yoder, Kansas to your specific order. Simple, all-inclusive pricing that covers the meat and processing. Pick up at your favorite Yoder Meats location. Call 620-465-3807 to get more information or place your order today. Follow us on Facebook. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
This is Alex Jones, and you're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
23 minutes past the hour. We are rocking it on YouTube Live today. Hey, check it out, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio. Subscribe. Watch us live. Watch all the podcasts. We are rocking there. TuneIn still acting a little funky. Stuff going on with TuneIn internally, so we're working on that one. But until then, you can always listen to us on the AM and FM radio, and then also on the interweb at YouTube, at youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio. Welcome in, 316-721-8255, whatever's on your mind. Here's some nutso stuff of the day.
It's your Pinko Flaming Commie Corner.
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. And I don't get it. There are a couple interesting stories today that just make you go, the things that make you go, for the day. Number one, as you know, California had banned the single-use plastic straws in the state. Kansas felt like it was a good idea to try and continue on with that thing, with that idea, with that mindset of they presented their bill to ban plastic straw use here in the state, which didn't go anywhere. And I tell you, if they would have tried to do a gut and go and include that somewhere, that would have been a problem. That would have been stupid. But they tried it, so hey, you know what? What do you do? So anyways, the European Union, according to Reuters.com, is now backing a single-use plastic straw ban to set the standard for the world. So now everybody in the world cannot have to worry about using single-use plastic straws because they're super duper terrible, horrible, and they're going to ruin the earth of its resources, and they're going to do terrible, horrible things. Single-use plastic straw items are straws, forks, and knives, as well as cotton buds that will be banned in Europe and the European Union by 2021 following a vote by EU lawmakers on Wednesday as the bloc pushes manufacturers to step out of the recycling efforts. So not only is it going to be straws, but forks, knives, as well as cotton buds, like the little cotton balls. Oh, yeah. Cotton balls that you use for, like, stuff that you need. We got cotton balls at home. I don't remember what we use them for, but we got cotton balls at home. You never know when you're going to need them. All of that will be banned by the European Union by 2021. This is why Britain needs to get out of the EU and the Brexit needs to happen. This is the ridiculous, stupid stuff that happens in societies that just have nothing better to do with their lives. And that's really what it is. They want to save the earth. They want to do something productive when all the productivity's really been done about success in advancing equal rights and saving the environment and conservation. And they've forgotten that stuff, so now they have to create new messages to try and say that now they're doing something productive for the world. Growing concerns about plastic pollution in the ocean and stories of dead whales with plastic in their stomachs, together with China's decision to stop processing waste, has prompted the EU to take a more drastic step to tackle the issue. Marine litter has come under spotlight because of 85% of its plastic. The European Parliament voted 560 to 35 in favoring of banning 10 single-use plastics, including plates, balloon sticks, yeah, food and beverage containers that made of expanded polyester and all the products made of the degradable plastic. These are 10 items found on the EU beaches. The EU countries have chosen their own method of reducing their own single-use plastics, such as taking containers and cups for beverages. They'll also have to collect and recycle at least 90% of beverages and bottles by 2029. There you go. Balloon sticks, food, plastic, plates, forks, straws, doesn't matter. All going to be banned in the next few years by the EU. Now, at least each country has the freedom to choose how they're going to do it. They just have to do it. This is what we're up against because they think they can completely dominate and dictate what each country can do, which is why we will never, ever, 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 or we should ever partake in this kind of garbage when it comes to something like the United Nations, which they're going to try it. And then they're going to say, well, this is the law of the world now. Your law of the land in the United States and the Constitution, that's really kind of irrelevant. We don't care about that anymore. So, yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You just need to ban your plastic straws. So California's done it. Kansas tried it. Now the European Union voted at a ridiculously high margin. That's why these states, I'm so glad that Britain's trying to get out of this, because a 560 to 35 vote. Are you kidding me? Saying, yeah, let's ban this stuff. What do you do? 316-721-8255. Let's go to the phones. Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
Jordan.
Hey, good morning, Jordan. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
So with the plastic straw and plasticware ban, so I have nerve damage in my jaw. I have to use a straw or it triggers my pain. So banning plastic straws is ableist.
See, there you go. So that hurts the disabled individuals, so that way you can actually, drink something. Now, what they're going to say, though, is that you're going to need to use a metal straw that's reusable, and then you just have to wash. So you can use the resources to, like, scrub it with soap and water and use water in order to rinse it off and use it again, as opposed to using a plastic straw.
So I'm going to run through 4 times the water, which poisons all the natural water resources.
Sure, yeah. But that's going to be saving the environment rather than throwing away a plastic straw that you use one time.
It says I only use my plasticware one time.
Yeah, see, there it is. Hey, that's an interesting point. I didn't think about that, Jordan. I like that. So if you have maybe jaw injuries or jaw issues and you can't actually drink without a straw, you need a straw. There you go. Racists or disabled-ists. I guess you could put it that way. Very interesting. But yeah, then you just have to use resources to wash straws to be reusable, and as opposed to just using the straw one time. Or you could burn it. But then, of course, that's polluting the ozone and doing that kind of stuff as well. So no matter what, you'll never win. Never win. They box themselves into nice little between rocks and hard places and corner themselves and then complain about the world and how terrible it actually is. It's kind of fun to watch, isn't it? Bottom of the hour news coming up. Stay here.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
President Trump is backing off his request to cut funding for the Special Olympics. This after Education Secretary Betsy DeVos spent days defending the budget cut in congressional hearings.
I've been to the Special Olympics. I think it's incredible, and I just authorized a funding. I heard about it this morning. I have overridden my people.
Britain's parliament is scheduled to cast another vote on Brexit within the next couple of hours. Correspondent Nick Robertson says resolution today does not look encouraging.
The assessment today is it will probably go down again because some of our own MPs won't vote for it. The opposition is against it, and our Northern Irish allies are against it too.
Flooding in the Midwest has been devastating. Republican Missouri Senator Josh Hawley says the Army Corps of Engineers told him point blank, flood control is not our top priority. Hawley's response, quote, "You've got to be kidding me." Wall Street futures are higher. I'm Evan Haining.
There's nothing small about your business. Your passion, your hours, your reputation, it's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
For professional staffing, there's only one name you need to know: Robert Half. Robert Half custom matches our candidates to your specific hiring requirements by combining personalized service from local staffing experts with an advanced matching technology based on 70 years of successful placements. For highly skilled accounting, finance, IT, legal, marketing, or administrative staffing, count on Robert Half. We'll find you productive, engaged employees. Learn more at roberthalf.com/radio.
Good Friday morning, Kansas Mid-America Network News. Two top leaders of the Kansas Highway Patrol are leaving that agency. Governor Laura Kelly announced yesterday in a news release that Colonel Mark Bruce, the agency's superintendent, and Lieutenant Colonel Randy Moon, an assistant superintendent, have resigned. Kelly said Shawnee County Sheriff Herman Jones will take the agency over. The governor's spokeswoman said she couldn't comment on the departures because they were personnel matters. 3 Kansas State University students who were banned on Wednesday from the Kansas State House for a year have been reinstated. The Kansas City Star reports Capitol officials yesterday reversed the ban that was imposed after the students helped hang large banners saying top Republican legislators who oppose expanding Medicaid have blood on their hands. Capitol Police Officer Scott Whitesell says he imposed the ban because the students violated a policy on demonstrations. Mid-America Network News. The Laundry Station, Wichita's premier laundry services provider just off Kellogg at Oliver, is pleased to announce the addition of dry cleaning and laundering pressing to the vast array of services offered. Prom dresses, business suits, comforters, and wedding dresses cleaned and preserved. And have anything that looks better pressed, laundered, and pressed from the Laundry Station. Fast turnaround, competitive pricing, and excellent service on quality dry cleaning and laundered pressed items. The Laundry Station. A DUI can literally stop a person and their vehicle in its tracks. If you know someone who's gotten a nudge from the judge and their vehicle can't budge without an ignition interlock device, the next right move is Just Right Auto Repair. Just Right Auto Repair at 4312 West Central is Wichita's Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist. Intoxilock is the preferred device of choice among customers and monitoring authorities. Make your vehicle just right in the Quartz site. Just Right Auto Repair, your Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist. It's an inventory reduction blowout sale at Derby Mattress. Sharon at Derby Mattress says the Serta models from last year have to go. to make room for new inventory arriving soon. Drastic reductions in last year's Serta models and floor models that need to move. Derby Mattress at 105 South Baltimore in Derby, home of hassle-free mattress shopping, locally owned and family owned. Derby Mattress.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Showers and storms, cloudy and 56. Tonight, a chance of rain and thunderstorms, cloudy and 37, but winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Still breezy for tomorrow, patchy drizzle before lunch, cloudy but gradually clearing, a high near 48. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 6:35, it's currently 53 degrees.
Like us on Facebook today at KQAM. This is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM. Keeping reason in the world of politics.
But if you're really angry, why in the first place are you not frustrated and angry to the fact that you have to spend $250 to $600 of your own cash to be able to provide resources in the classroom?
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
You know, that makes me wonder, listening to that, it makes me wonder where that bill went. Did it die off? Did we actually advance it somewhere? From State Representative Cheryl Helmer, who had introduced the bill saying that the districts need to reimburse fully the teachers that actually sink money into their classroom. That's a great idea. It does. It reminds me of the union, the teachers union, who really totally cares about the teachers so much that they threw a fit about Trump's tax cuts at the federal level, because that got rid of the write-off the teachers could use when they do invest money into the classroom on their taxes. It got rid of that write-off. They said they didn't like that because it didn't take care of the teachers when you wonder why they actually had to sink money into the classroom themselves in the first place, instead of the school district saying, hey, here's the money for your classroom, use it to whatever you to get whatever you need to in your class, to actually like flashing it up a little bit. You know, do the thing. But we can't do that. That's not the way that we need to be spending money appropriately. We need to spend money on, like, administrators and stuff. Maybe another bistro for them. Maybe we can get nice little special perks for the administrators behind the scenes, not in the classroom with the kids, but, you know, behind the scenes pushing the papers. That's the really important job. That's the stuff that really makes the kids learn and actually do really well in education. So why don't you just get on that one, guys? Come on. We're here for the teachers. We're the teachers union. We're really here for you, but we're not really here for you. So just kind of figure it out on your own. 316-721-8255. Speaking of the Trump tax cuts, so Donald Trump had guessed that the GDP growth for the fourth quarter of last year was going to be around 3%. The latest news, according to CNBC, said that the final reading was up 2.2%, as kind of expected, but leaves the full year short of Trump's goal of what he wanted for the overall. So not quite as much GDP growth as what we wanted for fourth quarter and for 2018 at the end of the year. Which, you know, CNBC loves this. The media is going to run with this now, as the collusion thing is done, and they can no longer say that he's a Russian agent, although some are going to say, well, he still is. They just didn't find the evidence. We only spend 12 to 20 some odd $1 million on this, but we just didn't find enough stuff. We didn't spend enough time on it. They didn't ask him about actually obstruction of justice. We're going to come after him. I tell you what, we're going to come after him for that stuff. And that's what they're going to say. But on the other front, when they talk about something somewhat realistic to humanity, they're going to try and bash on him for saying Donald Trump said we were going to get GDP growth of this level. We didn't get growth of this level. We saw 2.2% GDP growth for quarter number 4 for 2018. And all of 2018 closed with a 2.9% increase, short of President Trump's hopeful of 3% growth. Oh, wait a second. We wanted 3. We got 2.9. Oh, my God. Oh, man, I tell you what, he is so far off that it's not even funny with how crazy bad he is at guesstimating where the GDP is going to be. I mean, 0.1%. That is so far off, right? Give me a break. This is what they're going to go after. He wanted 3%. We didn't get that. We only got 2.9. Because this is a very intricate system where you can know exactly to the 0.1 degree where you're actually going to land for GDP growth, right? You really understand that, right? With how people's spending habits are going to be, what you can kind of guesstimate. You can really guess exactly where it's going to be. Economic growth in the U.S. slowed for the final part of 2018, with GDP posting a gain of just 2.2% in the fourth quarter. According to the Commerce Department report as of yesterday, the final reading with the line of what expectation of economists surveyed by the Dow Jones, that was down from the previous estimate of 2.6% and leaves the full year growth at 2.9%. Third quarter growth registered at 3.4%. In all of 2018, the best year for the economy since 2005. Wait a second. The best year for the economy since 2015. And well above the 2.2% increase in 2017, the economy grew 3% when compared with the fourth quarter of 2017. Wait a second. We're growing. Oh, my gosh. We actually grew. We had the GDP not quite as much as what we want, and Donald Trump was wrong. That's what they're going to say on the Sunday morning programs. Here, let me save you an hour from Meet the Press. They're going to say Russian collusion still happened. They're going to say obstruction of justice happened. And they're going to say Donald Trump won at 3%. We got 2.9%. And even though it may have been the best year for the economy since 2015, it may be well above what the economy looked like for growth in 2017. He's still wrong because he guesstimated 3% and we got 2.9%. That's going to be the change right there. That's going to be the devastating hit of Donald Trump not knowing what he's doing. He's showing up to rallies in Michigan, trying to rally people, trying to scramble and show the desperation of support that he needs to have, sort of thing. And it's not going to fly. I don't know how they're going to try and win an election by lying as much as they do. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, U.S. economy has led momentum heading into the 2019 as corporate profits stalled. The U.S. economy finished the year on a softer note than previously estimated. A new data shows corporate profit growth stalled, putting a weak momentum to the start of 2019. So let me get this straight. And listen to all the AOC fans, AOC yourself, Bernie Sanders, listen up here. You don't like corporations. You don't like the evil corporations and the really wealthy individuals because how dare they have more money than you. I know you're totally jelly. I get it. They don't do well. You punish them. They slow their profits, and the economy slows down, and the momentum of the economy slows down. So let me ask you this, progressives, and I know we have a lot of progressives that listen to the show. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say, and I will give you the floor if you choose to call in, because I know that you are desperate to, yell at me about how bad it is to be a capitalist and how I'm just, for like the Koch brothers and stuff and all that. So I want to hear from you, truly, honestly. If you believe in punishing corporations because corporations are evil, terrible human beings and groups that don't care about the working class and only are out for their best interest, which, heaven forbid, people are out for their own interests. Terrible thing, right? You trying to work today so you can get a paycheck so you can put food on your table because you're out for your own interest. You're not there to make the paycheck to give it away to somebody else, right? I know. Terrible, terrible thought process there. But if they're not out for their best interest and they don't grow as much as they should, the economy slows down. So is that a success or is that a failure? Donald Trump goes, let's just say for 1 second, Donald Trump goes after the evil corporation. You know what? You need to pay higher tax rates. Warren Buffett was right. We need to get rid of the loopholes. We need to tax more. We need to punish more. We need to do more. That we need to actually really punish the people that have the majority of the wealth in the country. We need to do it. We just got to. We have our debt running up. We have our bills that are getting bigger and bigger every single year with the federal government. We are not growing the economy as fast as what we wanted. We only got 2.9% when we really needed 3%. So it's kind of like all like just devastated and it's all crumbling before our eyes. Let's go after the big corporations. We go after the big corporations. The corporations lose profits. They slow their growth, and the GDP slows down to where we only see a 1.5% GDP growth. Is that a success because we punished the corporation, or is that a failure because we didn't grow the economy the way we need to be a sustaining nation before we start collapsing? I'm really curious about this. I want to see what the response would be for a progressive, because you're not going to grow it by taxing yourself to death. You're not going to grow it by giving free goodies out for social programs. It's not going to happen. So do you do it based on, we love the fact that we're punishing corporations, or, oh, darn, the economy didn't grow? I'm kind of curious about this. Now it's related to the state level, right? We have a state now who, how dare we give LLC tax breaks to corporations? terrible, horrible thing. Governor Laura Kelly, the superhero of the state of Kansas, who's going to save everything in the entire state of Kansas, she vetoed the tax bill that would give international corporations tax breaks and individuals tax breaks as well. That would also lower sales tax on food by 1%. She vetoed this because we can't be going down the same trail of the Governor Brownback failed policies of the last few years. We're wanting change. As in, we want to take your change and tax you at high rates, and therefore we can use it for spending at the state level because we have programs. And let me ask you this. The economy has not grown. The GDP is still flailing here in Kansas. We're tanking as an economy. We're not seeing economic reinvestment. We're not seeing the economy tick back up the way we need to. We're not seeing that 3% growth in Kansas the way that the rest of the nation is with the Trump tax cuts because we decided to go the other direction. So maybe that's a success. Consumerism is going down because sales tax receipts right now are in the tank. They were worse than they were in 2017. They were worse than they were in 2016. They're worse than they were the prior month. Every single month we seem to have our tax receipts lower and lower and lower for sales tax, meaning people buying things, groceries and hats and shoes and cars and homes and everything of the sort. All of that's going down. You're not spending as much money because you don't have the money because taxes are too damn high. So let me ask you, Governor Laura Kelly and the progressives in the state who think that we really need that change from the failed Brownback policies, quote unquote. Is it good that we're not spending money and the economy is going down because we have more revenue coming in because we're squeezing more out of that same apple? Or is it bad because we're squeezing too much out of that apple that's going to drive people out of the state and not have businesses want to come to the state of Kansas, and we don't see economic growth? So is it good or is it bad? I'm very curious to see how this works because the only way you grow the economy is allow businesses and individuals to have the money they need to reinvest in their business, to start a business, and to be able to have the money to buy things. And you cannot do that with the government taking the money and saying that we're going to spend it at the state level. So I'm curious, and all the legislators listening, and I know you're listening, is it good that we have less economic activity because we're squeezing the apple of you and I more? Or is it bad because we're squeezing that apple and we don't have as much revenue? I'm curious. We do have an ending balance right now according to our one-year budget proposal that they have. So to them, they're seeing the excitedness. The progressives are, not the conservatives. We're saying, what are we doing here? The progressives, though, they're loving it. They're digging it. Because they see more money coming in. They don't care about the GDP growth. They don't care about you as an individual. They don't care about the business. They really don't. They don't give two rips about you being able to start a business on your own. They don't care. The only thing they see, the number one priority the progressives see at the state level and at the federal level too, is the dollar amount going into the government. Their number one priority is the government. That's it. End of story, period. They don't care about anything else. So with the economy in 2018 doing way better than it ever had done since 2015, but then now we see the estimates of the corporations and their profits slowing down, the activists like AOC are going to say that's a great thing. At the same time, the economy's slowing down. They're like, oh, why is the economy slowing down? Because they're not bright enough to put two and two together. 316-721-8255. This is why we need to make some phone calls because Monday, today's Friday, Monday, the Senate Bill 22, the tax cut bill here in the state of Kansas, is going to be up for a vote to override Governor Brownback's veto. And I think that we have a great opportunity to really make a phone call. We could override that veto. I think we could do it in the Senate. I think we're going to have more trouble in the House, but let's get it done in the Senate to push that momentum into the House and be able to get it overridden. Let's get the tax breaks. It may be small, it may be minimal, but we have it. Tax breaks for international corporations to reinvest money here. Individual income tax rates going down a little bit. Sales tax receipts, sales tax on food going down by 1%. Not much, but it's something. Let's make it happen. Call your state senators today. We need to make that happen. 316-721-8255 right here on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Well, we saw some mixed numbers and some two-sided trade for corn on Thursday. Corn managed to pull out a bit of a rally just before we got to the end of the day. It had really been bouncing around back and forth either side of unchanged, not by huge amounts, but we finished green. Again, not by huge amounts. May corn up a quarter cent at 3.74. July corn up a quarter cent at 3.83 3/4. All the later months were in the green. Kansas City wheat just never did get on track. May KC wheat down 5 3/4 at 4.38 3/4. July down 5 1/2 at 4.46 3/4. Soybeans, May beans up 2 at 8.89 1/2. July soybeans were up 2 at 9.03. Each of the later months was up by about the same amount, just not huge gains, but certainly solidly in the green. May soybean meal up $2.10 at 306.50. July up 1.90 at 310.20. Soy oil was down. May bean oil down 19 points at 28.63. July bean oil down 18 points at 28.96. And so we'll call it mixed numbers across our grains and soybeans on Thursday. April live cattle was up 27 at 126.52 at the close. June up 2, 119.62. All the later months were red, though. Everything else was down. April feeder cattle up a nickel at 145.95. May feeders up 15 at 149.67. So, again, the later months were solidly in the green for feeder cattle. Hogs had a tough day. April hogs down 245 at 78.87. May hogs down $3 at 83.67. In fact, each of the later months after May all down by that $3 limit. So not a good day for hogs. Feeder cattle were all right, and fat cattle were mostly lower. Mixed numbers across the futures markets as we wrapped up on Thursday. Market update from Mid-America Ag Network.
Pride Ag Ace Hardware proudly introduces the Traeger Ironwood 650 Blackwood Pellet Grill. Just one of 3 brand spanking new models of Traeger available at Pride Ag Ace Hardware. The Traeger Ironwood 650 offers 650 square inches of cooking area. And with a porcelain grate and the name Traeger, you can't go wrong. And check out the all-new grilling section at Pride Ag Ace Hardware with not only Traeger, but Big Green Egg and Weber. Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays.
Send your taste buds on an exciting flavor vacation at Hurricane Sports Grill. Indulge in Hurricane's made-to-order jumbo chicken wings with 35 fabulous sauces from our sauce bar, half-pound burgers, and savory tacos. With 20 beers on tap, including local crafts or your choice of Hurricane specialty cocktails, come and enjoy your favorite sport on any of our 30 TVs or call ahead for carry-out game day platters. Don't forget Hurricane's daily specials, including Monday's all-you-can-eat chicken wings. Hurricane Sports Grill, a fun-filled, family-friendly environment at 13th and Tyler.
It's that time of year to spend more time outdoors, and it's not too late to get your new deck built from Burwell Construction. From mini decks to small patios to outdoor eating areas with gazebos, Burwell Construction has done it all in the past 30 years. Trust a name that's been around Wichita for a long time. It's Burwell Construction. Get on their schedule for your new deck. Find them online at burwellconstruction.com.
If it's built well, it's Burwell. Burwell Construction.
And now this message about fully customized vehicle wraps and graphics from Shire Graphics of Park City.
Park City's Shire Graphics has the highest quality of big truck and fleet graphics, from passenger vehicles to the big rigs and everything in between. No matter the size of your fleet, Shire Graphics of Park City is the area's leader in digitally printed vehicle wraps. Superior quality digital vehicle graphics from Shire Graphics, where their niche is your need in vehicle graphics, from single vehicle to fleet. Shire Graphics at shiregraphics.com.
The Joe Pag Show, weekdays at 5 on the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM.
It's really fun. One of the best things I love in debating, because it's all about debate, and we need to work on, maybe we should do this on the show. We need to get back on some debating professionals to learn how to craft again a proper debate in a form. So when we have dialogue and debate, you can corner them. What I love to do on the radio, if you know, when people do call in to try and argue in debate, is I'll listen to them, but I try to back them into the corner to make them have to defend their position. And look, if they can defend their position, then all the power to them, and I respect the hell out of it. If they can't, though, then that really shows the flawed process of either their thought process or the argument they're trying to make. Because the conundrum is awesome when you're stuck between the rock and the hard place. Do you want the economy to grow, or do you want to squeeze and punish the corporation because you're making a personal agenda out of it? Which one do you want? Because you cannot have both. The economy grows based on entrepreneurship. If you remember, we are an entrepreneurial type of industry in a state. We're one of those states, or a nation. State is in the nation here. We are a state, as they always refer to it as, that we have a free market, free enterprise type of system. Consumerism, business-led, that grows the economy. We're not like a Soviet nation. We're not like a communist or a socialist nation. We don't take over other people's lands and take their gold. We don't use the resources of somebody else in order to grow. We grow ourselves, and if we don't grow, that means people aren't buying stuff and businesses aren't doing well, and that's a very terrible thing for the society to be in. So, we need to focus on how to grow our economy. So which one do you want, progressives? Do you want the economy to grow based on businesses, large and small, to grow? Or do you want to punish them because you don't like them and then the economy not to grow? Because there is a correlation there. Barack Obama punished corporations left and right all throughout his 8 years as a president of the United States, and look at how much his economy actually grew. We came in the first time Donald Trump came into power and said, hey, look, we're going to lower taxes, we're going to cut regulation, we're going to boost the economy, and boom, baby, we saw the economic growth GDP-wise over the nation just like that overnight. It didn't even happen yet, but the anticipation of it. People are like, yeah, baby, I'm going to spend money again. It was great. I love it. 316-721-8255. We got Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, coming in hour number 3. Hour number 2, we have our Pass It or Ax It. But this is the story that I think should take the cake today, so to speak, as according to BigLeaguePolitics.com, as you know, masculinity is a terrible thing to have in today's times. We're not allowed to be masculine, which is why we try and put on the show of the alpha male and masculine. Not that I'm the alpha male per se, although, I mean, kidding. No, but we want masculinity in society. Testosterone, we want masculinity. We want guys like doing manly things. We want women doing womanly things, which could be, by the way, anything. Trust me, there are strong women that can whoop my butt any day of the week, and I fully admit that. That's not the point. The point is, though, is that now in society we want the beta males. We want the guy with the man bun and the hipster thing and being not being able to change a tire or split wood with their bare hands sort of thing. We don't want that any longer because we need to go to the masculinity confession booth, because if you believe in that kind of mentality, then you automatically are probably going to take advantage of women and look at them in very mean ways and saying nasty things to them and probably be a racist and a bigot too. And, oh, by the way, if you drink energy drinks, then you fall into that category as well, because according to them, energy drinks market to the masculine alpha male types that are white, athletic, terrible people, and we need to get rid of them as well. But according to Big League Politics, the way to stop that is no longer the masculinity confession booth, but is the men's therapeutic cuddle groups, offering beta males the opportunity for human contact. An outlandish group of men in Pennsylvania, according to BigLeaguePolitics.com, for plutonic cuddling twice a month, offering a fascinating view of the psyche of the beta male. The bizarre men's therapeutic cuddle group in Northwest Philadelphia offers highly structured male-only cuddling sessions with safe touch boundaries and non-sexual cuddling. Now, look, this is not a knock on anybody that's gay. I mean, I don't care in any way, shape, or form, but this is the reason that this is silly is because this is the way to fight ultra-masculinity. I mean, you could be masculine and you could have different orientations. I don't really care. But it's such on male cuddling action as the motorcycle style or the cuddle train or the hand-holding and classic hair or beard stroking among methods of exciting the male-only contact. According to the event's organizers, these acts allow men to experience the 3 A's: acceptance, affirmation, and affection. Men are invited to participate regardless of religious beliefs, marital status, or sexual orientation to try and fight ultra-masculinity in society. There it is. Now you have 2 options to get rid of your masculinity: the masculinity confession booth and male-to-male cuddling. Whatever floats our boats, man. Got to take a break. Hour number 2. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
Joe and the guys at Carl's Goodyear, well, they are nice guys. That's the only way to describe them. Need new tires? Got you covered. Flat tire fixed? Done. Tune-up? Oil change? Brakes? Exhaust? Radiator? You get the idea. They do almost everything for your vehicle. They will also give you a ride when your car is in the shop. Nice guys who know auto repair, but above that, they know people and treat them like they would want to be treated. Carl's Goodyear, right on the corner of Market and Waterman, 264-5385.
The Laundry Station in Wichita is Kansas' premier laundry services provider. The Laundry Station has machines for all of your needs in the Wichita area. In fact, the largest machine can handle 10 loads at a time. Imagine a laundry facility where you don't need change. The Laundry Station accepts Apple Pay, debit cards, and credit cards, and your quarters as well. The Laundry Station is conveniently located in the heart of Wichita, on Oliver at Kellogg. The Laundry Station, and online at thelaundrystationks.com.
This is a Steckline communication station, K273CX FM 102.5 and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for the latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by The Laundry Station, Kansas's premier laundry services provider in the Wichita area. Centrally located on Oliver at Kellogg. The Laundry Station.
Good Friday morning. The mother convicted in the death of her 3-year-old son, who was found encased in concrete, was sentenced yesterday to 25 years in prison. Miranda Miller was charged with second-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, abuse of a child, and aggravated endangering of a child in the death of Evan Brewer. Cake TV reports Miranda Miller addressed the court during her sentencing proceedings.
All I ever wanted to be was a mother, and I have horribly failed at that. My son Evan has paid for my bad choices and my decisions.
As part of a plea deal, Miranda Miller agreed to testify against her ex-boyfriend Stephen Bodine, who was sentenced to 109 years for the boy's death. Evan Brewer's family members were in the courtroom yesterday, his aunt not putting much credence behind the tears of Miller.
She didn't fight for her son when he was alive, and those tears was just tears. It was her playing victim.
Wichita police say a 33-year-old man died after an accident at Kellogg and I-135 shortly before 10 o'clock yesterday morning involving an SUV and a car. Police say an SUV stalled out on eastbound Kellogg and was partially blocking eastbound lanes when police say the car, coming from the southbound I-135 ramp, struck the rear of the SUV. The man inside the car was critically injured and later succumbed to his injuries. 2 women and an infant inside the SUV were not injured in the crash. A California man is facing decades in prison when he's sentenced for making hoax emergency calls, including one that led police to fatally shoot Andrew Finch of Wichita. The sentencing for Tyler Barris today in federal court at Wichita. The 26-year-old has pleaded guilty to 51 charges related to fake calls and threats under an agreement calling for at least 20 years in prison. And forecasters say rain is the rule today for south central Kansas, followed by a weekend ushering in cooler temperatures. I'm Rick Everett, now sports.
The Wichita State Shocker baseball team starts a 3-game series today with Bethune-Cookman. First pitch is today at 12 noon at X Stadium. The Shockers are 13-12 on the season. The Kansas City Royals had a great opening day yesterday, beating the White Sox 5-3. Brad Keller was the starting pitcher. He went 7 scoreless innings, and the Royals got some offense from shortstop Alberto Mondesi, who became the second Royal in franchise history to hit 2 triples on opening day. Gonzaga, Purdue, Texas Tech, and Virginia all advancing to the Elite Eight. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Whether it's your home or your business, from roofing to foundation repair, Romani Construction of Wichita makes the process of construction or home and business improvement easy. Romani Construction involves you in the process from concept to completion. Better Business Bureau accredited, Romani Construction specializes in roofing, fire and water restoration, foundation repair, and concrete, and is locally owned and operated. From setting a start date when things actually get started to completing your project on time, call Romani Construction of Wichita, 252-7972.
Hi ladies, it's Tiffany talking about my all-time favorite home decorating source, Jabara's Flooring Outlet. You've heard of Jabara's Flooring for years. They have the largest selection of carpet, tile, wood, and all your favorite floor coverings in the state. So what's new for 2019? Stop by Jabara's this month during their Live in Style Customer Appreciation Month and find out. Take it from me, ladies, a real shopper, someone who loves a great deal and super quality. See Jabara's for your new floors. Like they say, the smartest shoppers shop Jabara's. 17th and North Broadway, Wichita.
Stopping by your airwaves to tell you about Barney's Pharmacy and Home Medical Supplies at Central and Zoo Boulevard. Barney's, your Health Mart pharmacy, has served the Wichita area since the 1980s. With home medical equipment supplies, including wheelchair lifts, scooters, crutches, well, you get the point. And when it comes to your prescription needs, Barney's website name says it all. Barney'sDiscountDrugs.com. Free local delivery of all your prescriptions citywide. All your home medical needs, Barney's Pharmacy, Central and Zoo Boulevard.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
President Trump is backing off his request to cut funding for the Special Olympics. This after Education Secretary Betsy DeVos spent days defending the budget cut in congressional hearings.
I've been to the Special Olympics. I think it's incredible. And I just authorized a funding. I heard about it this morning. I have overridden my people.
Britain's parliament is scheduled to cast another vote on Brexit within the next couple of hours. Correspondent Nick Robertson says resolution today does not look encouraging.
The assessment today is it will probably go down again because some of our own MPs won't vote for it. The opposition is against it, and our Northern Irish allies are against it too.
Flooding in the Midwest has been devastating. Republican Missouri Senator Josh Hawley says the Army Corps of Engineers told him point blank, flood control is not our top priority. Hawley's response, quote, "You've got to be kidding me." Wall Street futures are higher. I'm Evan Haining.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Hatman Jacks. Amazing headwear for women and men. At the Clock Tower in Delano, Hatman Jacks.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Showers and storms, cloudy and 56. Tonight, a chance of rain and thunderstorms, cloudy and 37, but winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Still breezy for tomorrow, patchy drizzle before lunch, cloudy but gradually clearing, a high near 48. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:06, it's currently 53 degrees.
Feeding your addiction to talk radio. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on KQAM 1480 AM and 102.5 FM. It's time for Reason.
But there are very basic principles, and I call for the Republican Party to strip the Republican members of their party affiliation, because this is sad. This is not bravery. This is cowardice, because you didn't stand up for a basic principle of what you said you believed in. To run under a false flag, to fool the people of the electorate, to fool the constituents on what they thought they were voting for as a Republican and a member of the Republican Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is hour number 2, the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. Hey, guess what? It's a Friday. Can you believe it? It is like not raining anymore, but it's cloudy, it's dark, it's weird, it's kind of like overcast. It's just really difficult to get up and going this morning. If you are watching, we are broadcasting live on radio, 1480 AM, 102.5 FM, KQAM. We are on YouTube Live, and if you notice, I'm actually flipped to the other camera just for a segment here, as Anthony George is our intern for the station, hanging out with us here for a segment, running the board, doing the thing, getting him familiarized with everything. Anthony, you just came over from the sports side. This is a way more entertaining show. There's a lot more stuff to actually talk about here, and you're going to have a lot more fun over here, I promise you. So welcome into the show this morning. Oh, you got to turn on the mic there. Hey, there you go.
Let me be a part of it and learn how to run this board.
Hey, you're getting there. No, it's good. So over there, what are they? Let me guess. They're talking basketball.
Well, of course, it's March Madness.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so their brackets, are their brackets looking just as good as mine? Because mine's kind of awesome right now.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how theirs is, but I'll tell you, mine's not hanging in there so hot.
We're getting there. We're getting there. I love it. So, well, welcome aboard, and we're getting you trained up on here. So if you're watching, we're on the other mic and the other camera for just a segment here as we continue on. Hey, by the way, it's a Friday. This half hour of the broadcast is brought to you by Countryside Motors. Just a short drive down the turnpike for big savings.
Make sure to check out the Buick and Chevy cars, trucks, along with the Polaris and Hustler ATV and turf equipment. Countryside Motors in Wellington, Kansas. Their complete service and parts department for your Polaris and Hustler equipment as well. The full-line service for your Chevy and Buick vehicles. They are the Spartan dealer for the area as well. It's Wellington, Kansas, online at countrysidemotors.net. CountrysideMotors.net. It is a Friday, and it is a free-for-all Friday, baby. Come on. That means today, whatever's on your mind, bothering you, troubling you, it doesn't matter. We get to have a little fun doing the thing today. We got a lot to get to on a free-for-all Friday. Let's make it happen. Come on. All right. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK. If you want to join into the program, I'd love to hear from you today. Feel it. Feel it. I know it's hard. It's hard to wake up on days like this, isn't it? You kind of drive in or you're waking up. Even before you even see outside, you see you just hear the rain, you just feel it, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, I just don't want to get going today. That's what we're going to be here for you to help you get up and moving today. 316-721-8255. We have our pass it or exit here in just a minute we'll get to. First, though, let's get into the fact that the U.S. Supreme Court is not going to be ruling on the bump stock ban. The bump stock ban officially taken place a couple of days ago, and I know as we read the stories yesterday, many stories out of Texas and out of different areas, we're saying that, number one, first off, and we've talked to different gun stores around here as well, retailers are like, not a big deal with the bump stock ban. We didn't really have those in stock or sell a whole lot of those anyways. And either we don't have them in stock any longer, or we did and people came and bought them before the ban actually took effect, which means, to me, that this is going to be a short-lived ban, just like the AR ban that they had, the assault rifle, quote-unquote, ban from years ago, where they said that it was bad to have an assault rifle, semi-automatic rifles. They were going to ban these. And then we realized, oh, yeah, there's too many in society. Too many people had them. We can't regulate this. We don't know where they're at. They're not doing the buyback programs. They're not giving them up. I guess we just have to legalize it again because we can't go and stop all of them. We can't get rid of all of them. So the bump stock ban, whether people see it as a really important issue or not, the bump stock ban is going to be one where I think is going to be short-lived because we're going to realize that we cannot regulate this, which really opens up the Pandora's box for a lot of regulations as well, too. Can you regulate something where you don't know how many people have them, where they're at? Do you really know how to regulate something? It's kind of like a seatbelt law. And, Anthony, jump on this for a second here because, you know, coming from the high school perspective, the bump stock ban, which I don't know, do you own a bump stock?
I do not.
No. Okay. Well, but you shoot guns, right?
Certainly.
Yeah. Okay. So we have bump stocks. We have seatbelts. If you don't wear your seatbelt, does the cop really know that? Does the cop really know that you're not wearing a seatbelt? Do they really know that?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Let's go to the phone, shall we? 316-721-8255. Line number one. Who's this?
This is Jim.
Jim, good morning, sir. How we doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. The real issue about the bump stock is that the ATF does not have the authority to write law. What they did was they, set up a little standard, but they redefined what was a machine gun. We had congressional law for 60 years that defined what a machine gun was, and ATF changed that.
Sure.
And the Supreme Court will throw it out because, if they can do that to a bump stock.
Well, that's the thing, though. They're not going to throw it out. The Supreme Court said they're not even going to listen to it. They're just going
No.
to...
No. That's not. The Supreme Court did not issue an injunction.
Right.
The whole thing on the bump stock is still in the lower courts. It will eventually, in the next year or so, arrive at the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will grant certiorari, which just means they'll hear the whole case.
Sure.
They'll hear all the evidence and all the positions. Right now, all they did was they said we're not going to issue an injunction.
Well, that is true, right. And now, let me ask you this. Do you think that it's going to go away at some point? Now, because they do have, as many other agencies have, the fourth branch of government, the bureaucratic state that we have in this nation now, thankfully, not, just sarcasm there. But the bureaucratic state that we have, the EPA is able to just write laws. They write them, President signs them, they're good to go. President Trump was in favor of this bump stock ban.
The Congress gave these agencies the authority to do certain things.
Right.
But they didn't give them the authority to amend congressional law.
Well, theoretically, but they still try and do it.
Yeah, but that's all wrong. I mean,
it is wrong. It is wrong. They shouldn't be, but they still do it.
They could decide that you cannot be on the radio talking politics and trash. You have to only talk the government approved things. That's a violation of the First Amendment and a violation of the FCC rules. The FCC rules say there are certain words you can't use.
Right.
But
remember, they also tried to sign the petition in Congress as well to ban to Rush Limbaugh from the radio waves as well. So I mean, they've already tried to silence a lot of talk radio and tried to put a lot of regulations on them and get rid of them.
That's all unconstitutional.
Oh, it is, but that was Congress even signing.
You have to remember, the government considers the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to be a challenge to be overcome and gotten around.
Sure.
They're always looking for the loophole. There are no loopholes.
There are no loopholes. I mean, there should be a very blatant, and I appreciate the call, Jim. I want to get to somebody else here in a minute. 316-721-8255. There we go.
Okay.
No, go ahead and kill that. There we go. All right, you're good there. 316-721-8255. No, I get what you're saying. The point is, though, is that the bureaucratic state does try to regulate. They do try to control, and Congress has even overstepped their bounds numerous times as well, even going back to the sign of trying to sign a petition to remove Rush Limbaugh from the radio waves. So they try this because they do what they want to, regardless of the law. It should be very simple, very blatant. The Second Amendment, you shall keep and protect your Second Amendment, and you shall bear arms, and it shall not be infringed, period, end of story. But yet, look at now, we have the ATF that tries to tell you that laws are going to apparently save us to some degree. So, I don't know. I still think the bump stock ban is going to be short-lived. It is going to be in lower courts, and hopefully we do get it repealed. And if not, then there's going to be a lot of people that hold on to a bump stock, that do not give them up, that do not do the paybacks, that do not do the turning in, and they're going to sit on them, and they're going to wait for the government to come and get them. And that's going to be just about it. So we'll follow it as we go along. We're going to get Mark Walters on the show probably next week anyways, because he'll be coming out for the KSRA meeting in a couple of weeks as well. And I know he's been following it quite closely, and I heard a little bit of his show last night, and he was talking about this as well. So we'll get his thoughts, but I think the bump stock ban going to be short-lived. Another example of how you cannot regulate law. Real quickly, Anthony, I mean, for example, and I asked you this as well, can you really regulate a seatbelt law? If you say you have to wear a seatbelt in the car, can you really watch every single person on the street, and if they're not wearing a seatbelt, then you pull them over and ticket them for some reason?
Yeah, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, so why have the law in the first place?
I understand they want to do it for safety, but you're going to understand. Seatbelt, not a lot of people are going to toss it and just throw it on.
Yeah, just throw it on. I mean, it's one of those where, you should wear a seatbelt. It's kind of common sense to wear a seatbelt, but if you don't, then that's your own fault, and you're going to pay the repercussions for it anyways. Why have a law to protect ourselves from ourselves? I don't know. Maybe the bump stock ban's kind of like that. There's been one shooting that used a bump stock, and if you take them all away, apparently that's going to stop shootings with bump stocks. If a bad guy still wants it, they're going to use it, right?
Oh, I agree. I mean, if somebody wants something, they're going to get it whether they get it the right way or they don't get it.
Yeah, you would think so. 316-721-8255. All right, it is time. We do it every single week. It is our Pass It or Ax It of the week right here on KQAM.
I'm in a nightmare hallucination.
It's time to pass it or ax it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so here's how the game's played. We do it every single week, is that you, as the voter, as the constituent, as the person with the voice, you get to say whether you pass it or ax it. We create the topic of the week, and you get to decide whether you agree or disagree. And if you had the voice to vote on it, whether you would vote yay or nay, our Pass It or Ax It each and every week is brought to you by the Spectacle Shop, KRSpecs.com. You can visit them at 306 North Rock Road. We really appreciate Kent and Roxy's Spectacle Shop partnering up with us on this each and every week. And today is our last one, by the way, because it is Pie Month at Spears Restaurant and Pie Shop. $7.95 for a pie. We have a free pie that we'll give to a caller at the end of the hour. Here's the topic of the week. There was a story that posted about the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, and how the story is by the Associated Press. The KKK is slowly rising again. And they, of course, blame President Donald Trump on this, the hate speech that President Donald Trump spews, the rhetoric that Donald Trump spews. But there are some that are okay with this because they're irrelevant, being the KKK being irrelevant. Here's what they have to say, and this is from, if I didn't just lose my place here, you know what, I'll have to take a break and do it. When we come back, there's an organization out of Colorado that's a great conservative organization, the Rocky Mountain Black Conservatives. And it's a black organization who posted this story and said that it's okay. The KKK is completely irrelevant. They say that it doesn't matter. Let them have their freedom of speech. And this is from a black conservative organization. So the pass it or exit today is regards to freedom of speech and hate groups like the KKK, and even on the other side of the extreme layer like the Black Lives Matter. Freedom of speech. Should we be trying to come down on these hate speech groups, or should we allow them to have the freedom of speech? Is it a line of where you separate the line of, well, if they're trying to do harm to other people is where you put the stamper out? Or is it the fact that you can let them do whatever they want to? Or, you know what, they're just bad because they're divisive to society. We need to cut them dead in their tracks. Your thoughts on it, pass it or exit, between the extremist groups, between all of them, I would say. And I would say, by the way, Antifa being part of this organization as well. And, oh, by the way, maybe, the socialists right now. You do hear socialists come out and say, well, conservatives, Donald Trump supporters, you're just by default, we label you as racist, bigoted, hate speech, yada, yada, yada. We have now the legit right to come after you, to silence you. Social media shutting down your messages. We get to silence you in public. We get to take your hats off and hit you in public. We get to silence you. We get to beat you up because we are justified in doing so because you're a Nazi and we don't like Nazis, and therefore you are the hate speech, and the hate speech leading to the other side. Who defines what hate speech is? Who defines what a hate group is? And if you had a voice, would you silence quote-unquote hate speech, or does everybody have that freedom of speech regardless of what their views are, whether it is extremist or whether it's just false extremism of what they try to label as the media? Pass it or exit today. We'll do that when we come back right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Billions in farm disaster aid, including for this month's historic flooding in the Midwest, could get bogged down in a dispute over disaster funding for Puerto Rico. A $13 billion Senate bill includes $5 billion for producers' net disaster losses for this year and last, along with several $100 million for storm response, recovery, and better forecasting. But President Trump objects to Puerto Rico hurricane aid. Democrats are demanding beyond $600 million in food assistance. Top Senate Appropriations Democrat Patrick Leahy.
The president's refusal to help Americans in Puerto Rico not only delays an important disaster bill that many other states are relying on to speed their recovery efforts, it discriminates against the over 3 million Americans who reside in Puerto Rico, and that's wrong.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says Midwest farmers and ranchers need help now. More votes on the Senate bill were expected this week, possibly next. Senate Democrats proposed passing a House-passed version or even a shell bill to set up negotiations with the House. Soil temperature report brought to you by the Kansas Corn Growers Association and Abilene Machine. Ag producers around the country depend on Abilene Machine for high-quality ag replacement parts at the lowest possible prices. Call 800-255-0337 for new, remanufactured, and recycled parts for planters, drills, tractors, combines, and more. Order online at AbileneMachine.com. Southern counties in Kansas, northern counties in Oklahoma warming up after a couple of very pleasant days. Soil temperature report as of 7 a.m. this morning, 51, 52, and 53 degrees in those tiers of counties along southern Kansas and northern Oklahoma. Unfortunately, a little cooler in northern Kansas, 41, 42 degrees, and in Nebraska, still a lot of low 30s. We don't see anywhere near 40 degrees until we get to the southern counties in Nebraska. Soil temperature report brought to you by the Kansas Corn Growers Association and Abilene Machine. Ag News, soil temperature report, Mid-America Ag Network.
Don't miss more ways to save on a new Bobcat compact track loader at White Star Machinery. Choose a cash rebate up to $10,000 or take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days with approved credit. Put Built Tough priced right Bobcat equipment to work and get peace of mind with our 2-year, $2,000 full warranty. Why wait? Start saving today. Check it out on our website, whitestarmachinery.com.
White Star, get the job done.
Here's some simple math for you. Chevy cars and trucks just cost less at Countryside Motors in Wellington. You want the best price on a Silverado in Kansas or Oklahoma? Check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Are you looking for that perfect SUV? They have the great selection of Buick Enclaves, Envisions, and Encores, again, at the best prices anywhere. Countryside Motors in Wellington. Folks, it's simple math. For the best prices on cars and trucks, check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Online at countrysidemotors.net. Simple math. Best prices. Come on out to the country and save. Countryside Motors in Wellington, Kansas.
El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54. Pipe cattle pens with a capacity to hold 5,000 head of cattle. Covered pens to hold 3,500 to 4,000 head. There's a fully modern vet barn and a fully computerized sale program for fast and accurate settlement. The sales ring, comfortable stadium seating in a climate-controlled arena, and new scales. The sale order on sale day, stock cows and bulls, followed by calves, then feeder cattle, then butcher cows and bulls. The goal at El Dorado Livestock Auction is to get the highest possible price for the producer by bringing in the best possible buyers. The auction barn staff provides a friendly, personal relationship with each customer. The staff gets to know the customer and his or her individual needs, and then they meet those needs with an honest, full-value approach that serves both buyer and seller. El Dorado Livestock Auction, a sale every Thursday at 11 a.m. El Dorado Livestock Auction, 2.5 miles east of El Dorado on Highway 54.
Larry Elder, weekend mornings here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM.
Minutes past the hour. Welcome back into The Voice Reason. All right, well, great to have you back. It's a little different being on the other side of the thing here, without the computer in front of me and without all the controls right there. Appreciate Anthony hanging out with us for a little bit. Back on the regular side of the studio again, making it happen. Got to get the interns involved in the politics a little bit. He was over on the sports side and had to show them what real talk radio is like. I'm just saying. I'm kidding. It's a joke. 26 minutes past the hour, 316-721-8255. It's time for our Pass It or Axe It of the day.
I'm in a nightmare hallucination.
It's time to pass it or axe it.
So the question is, should we regulate hate speech and try and kill off extremist organizations, or should we defend freedom of speech no matter what? And because, I mean, it really does open up the Pandora's box of who controls that hate speech, who controls the dialogue of who is considered hate speech and an extremist organization. They've already tried to label conservatives in general or Trump supporters in general as a hate speech organization. So that's the big question of the day. Now, there is an organization, the Rocky Mountain Black Conservatives, who have made the statement. They're the ones that posted the story from the New York Post and from the Associated Press about the KKK slowly rising again. Here's what they have to say, and I want to get your thoughts on this. The KKK never has a more marginal, inept, insignificant group of people been given more underserved credit or attention than the KKK. Liberals love to point to the supposed resurgence of the KKK since Trump's election. What a joke. When's the last time the KKK did anything of note or significance in the last 40 years? The organization self-reports membership numbers of somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 people. That's it. Resurgence? Sure. If my wife and I start a church in our living room, the next year another couple joins, we can truthfully report that our numbers have doubled. The KKK and every other white supremacist group are the biggest non-factors in America today. Nobody cares. Most of all, me. According to this story, a black American descendant from the slave trade, couldn't care less about these groups and their own growth, if there is any. If they want to get together in their homes or at meeting halls or whatever on Friday nights, drink beer, play bingo, read the Bible, tell racist jokes, or whatever such people do when in the company of one another, fine, go ahead. Want to use a permit for a local park, march there and have a barbecue, have at it. There's no way I could possibly care less. They aren't harming me. The only person's soul they're doing any damage to is their own. I wish you wouldn't. I wish you'd disassociate. I pray and I wish you would find ways to let go of that hate. But the bottom line is, it's your own detriment, not mine. So hold your meetings, wear your flags, do whatever it is you do, as long as you do not threaten or harm me, my family, or my property. Have at it. Who really cares about you? Now, that's from the Rocky Mountain Black Conservatives on social media. They're a great organization, and that's a really interesting point. Is
even though there is quote-unquote, and there is hate speech. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just because we knock the whole hate speech because progressives have redefined hate speech doesn't really mean anybody that's a Republican. There is actual hate speech out there. Really, truly, honestly wanting to hate other people and other organizations because of their skin color, their gender, their ideas, their whatever. There are hate speech groups out there and extremists out there. Is the line drawn based on when they start doing physical damage? Is it drawn when we're trying to move society forward without any type of angry speech? And who regulates that? So if you had the vote with our Pass It or Axe It today, do you defend the right to freedom of speech for everybody, or do we try to crack down on some form of hate speech in some way, shape, or form? Let's go to the phones here. The phones are lit up. Line number one. I tell you, crap. I got about 45 seconds. Hang on the line. I'm sorry. Hang on the line. We talked too long in that one. We'll get to you. Get all your phone calls when we come back. It is, by the way, the poll is on Facebook, facebook.com/1480 KQAM. You can shoot me a message on the YouTube, as we got a lot of people on there as well. But let us know on the poll, on the email, Andy@KQAMradio.com. The phones are all lit up. We'll get to all of you as soon as we come back with our Pass It or Axe It of the week. Very interesting topic. Where is that line drawn between what is hate speech and not, an extremist organization and not? And where does that line be drawn where we defend that stuff or we say you guys are nuts? Stay here. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to you as soon as we come back. This is The Voice of Reason.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
The collusion delusion is over.
At a campaign-style rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan last night, President Trump touting no evidence of collusion between his campaign and the Russian government. British Parliament will vote today on Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal for a third time.
The Labour Party have said that they will not be supporting the Prime Minister's deal, as have the Democratic Unionist Party, which prop up Theresa May's government. Whatever happens, it is sure to be dramatic and a fitting end to one of the most turbulent weeks in recent British political history.
Correspondent Bianca Nobilo in London. Pope Francis has issued sweeping new sex abuse legislation covering Vatican personnel and Holy See diplomats. The immediate reporting of abuse allegations to Vatican prosecutors and reporting to police is now required in alleged sex abuse cases. I'm John Trout.
Mark your calendars, bargain fashion fans, and get ready to rock with Gordman's during our 2019 grand opening tour. New stores are popping up all over, and we're celebrating in epic style at all our Gordman's all month long. We're lining up new trends, home decor galore, and fun VIP giveaways, plus everyday deals that will be music to your ears. Gordman's always has the goods, but bargain shoppers like you are the life of this party. So drop by today and find out what happens when frugal meets fierce. Bigger deals, smaller prices. Hashtag got it at Gordman's.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why we offer tools to give you a deeper sense of the people behind the paper, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Increase your visibility to great candidates with the free sponsored job upgrade on your first job posting at Indeed.com/promo. The sponsored job upgrade is a $50 sponsored job credit. Users are charged once the credit is spent or it expires. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Kansas Mid-America Network News, Good Friday. One bicyclist was killed, a second was injured after a crash reported last night on U.S. Highway 160 west of Medicine Lodge in Barber County. The Kansas Highway Patrol says the crash involved the bicyclists and a vehicle, but as of last night did not confirm what led up to the crash, nor the severity of the injury to the second bicyclist. The patrol says U.S. Highway 160 was temporarily closed last night as crews worked to clear that scene. The fire department in Kansas City says a construction worker was killed yesterday morning when he fell 23 stories at a convention hotel construction site near downtown. The Kansas City Star reports the fire department spokesman, Jimmy Walker, said emergency workers responded to the hotel under construction about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. The worker was pronounced deceased at the scene. I'm Rick Everett with your Kansas News on the Mid-America Network.
Myers Exterior Products. Hey, honey, did you hear that? These new windows from Myers Exterior Products are so easy to clean, even I can do it. Honey. Oh, are you okay?
This could happen to you if you got new windows from Myers Exterior Products. Call Doug at 944-1024. Doug can't guarantee your spouse will faint when you clean the windows, but he can guarantee his work.
Call 944-1024. Call 944-1024. For the friendliest round at the best course in town, Cherry Oaks Golf Course.
Spring weather is near, and season passes are on sale now at Cherry Oaks Golf Course of Cheney. There's a pass for everyone. Leagues are forming and will begin play soon. Ladies, men's, and seniors leagues. It's the public course with the country club feel. Cherry Oaks Golf Course of Cheney.
Cherry Oaks Golf Course.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Wichita, call WEJ Insurance at 265-6241.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Showers and storms, cloudy and 56. Tonight, a chance of rain and thunderstorms, cloudy and 37, but winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Still breezy for tomorrow, patchy drizzle before lunch, cloudy but gradually clearing, a high near 48. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:35, it's currently 52 degrees.
This segment of the Voice of Reason on KQAM brought to you by Riverside Cafe, home of the 3-pound burger and hand-cut fries, plus breakfast all day long. 2 Wichita locations and 824 North Baltimore in Derby. Riverside Cafe. Defending the rights of every Kansan.
I'm not being aggressive, I'm being dominant.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, welcome into it. 35 minutes past the hour. It's great to have you for the ride today on a Friday. It's a free-for-all Friday, meaning whatever's on your mind. But right now we are hanging out doing our Pass It or Action of the Week, presented by the Spectacle Shop. Kent and Roxy's Spectacle Shop, krspecs.com. Visit them at 306 North Rock Road on a Friday.
I'm in a nightmare hallucination.
It's time to pass it or axe it.
Here it is. So the question is today regarding hate speech and hate organizations. Do we regulate them? Do we defend freedom of speech? So far, the votes on the poll on Facebook show just about everybody saying defend freedom of speech no matter what, even including the quote-unquote. And here's the question. How do you defend, or how do you define hate speech? What is the definition of it, and where do you draw that line and saying, well, you know, we just don't like what you have to say, so therefore your hate speech, to, oh, you're a terrible, horrible human being. We need to stop you from doing what you're doing. Let's go to the phones here, shall we? Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
This is Eddie.
Hey, good morning, Eddie. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. No, we should never, ever limit speech, okay?
Very
never.
Good. Okay. Now,
period.
Now, is there, well, I guess there's already a line drawn when it comes to, oh, hey, you assaulted somebody because of their skin color. That would be an assault.
Oh, to hell with all that. I don't, after this bullet deal up there in Chicago, and by the way, I need to give a shout out to those beautiful mayor, although he's a Democrat, the chief of police, although he's a Democrat, for coming down hard on that little old worthless queer boy, black, whatever the hell he is, mullet guy. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, they did not like the fact that they were really taken advantage of here by doing an investigation, by coming out and realizing that he did stage the entire thing. And this really is where a lot of this bleeds into. I mean, right now we have Smollett, who faked an attack on him by guys wearing MAGA hats saying this is MAGA country, and didn't like him because he was black, didn't like him because he was gay, didn't like him because of this and that and the other. And then not only did that, but put the noose around his neck, walked home with that on. Then he had the powder mailed to himself in order to look like it was some type of anthrax or some type of attack because he was attention seeking. But he went after, the purpose of all this is he went after Donald Trump and Donald Trump supporters trying to create a hate speech rhetoric of saying that these people are hateful of me, and therefore I'm going to try to show that example. And the media defending him because, well, even though it may not have happened to him personally, it happens all over the place because that's what Donald Trump supporters and hate speech individuals like the KKK, who apparently are parts of Donald Trump support, are about, and therefore we need to bring awareness to this. So it may not have happened to him, but there's a justification for it because he's trying to bring awareness to it. It's a piece of art that he's created here, right?
Oh, that's just a bunch, that bunch of silliness. I watched CNN and MSNBC. For the most part, they supported the Chicago Police Department, and they were down on this Smollett guy or whatever his name is, this black queer boy. But anyway, he got what he deserved.
He's going to. He did right now, but he's going to.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I miss you on TV. Boo-hoo.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I think that I agree. I mean, freedom of speech when it comes to this, there's so many cases of misrepresentation. It's kind of like the false accusations right now of the rape or the sexual harassment or the sexual assault, where there's so many false cases of this now where a woman can just come out and say, this person assaulted me, and there's no due process, there's no investigation, there's no way to prove it. It's just, by automatic, this person assaulted me, and therefore I should be able to punish this individual, and you should punish this individual because he's a terrible, horrible human being, because he's a ultra-masculine type of individual, and we need to punish them for that because we need to stop ultra-masculinity. They don't like that masculinity stuff. So instead of a due process, instead of a cycle of, we need to prove the fact that this is going on, just note by default, she is the victim, he is a jerk, and we need to come after him. This is really where we've gone with hate speech today, hasn't it? And that's a very dangerous line to walk. You are a Donald Trump supporter. You are a Republican. You have ideas of, if you believe in limited social programs, then you are talking about hate speech towards people that are elderly or disabled and need those social programs. You are actually creating hate speech by not supporting social programs. See how fine that line is right there? You're not. That's not the case in any way, shape, or form, but to those that believe it, you are. And there are ones, by the way, that are defining these terms and actually creating the definitions of these terms every day, so that way when we talk about the word quote-unquote hate speech, that's what they automatically assume. If you do not believe in universal health care, then you are hateful towards people who are sick that do not have insurance. You there now do not care about them, and therefore you are talking about hate speech, and you should be silenced. Because how dare you have a different thought other than ours? And ours is, we must take care of everybody with social programs and universal health care. See how that line's drawn? And I'm telling you, they try to enforce this every day, just like they try to enforce the seatbelt law. You're not wearing a seatbelt. Why not? Well, because you know what? Maybe I want to go through the windshield and have it be over with if I go into an accident. It's my religious belief. It's my religious belief. It's my religious right to do. I wonder if someone's ever tried that. I don't want to wear a seatbelt in my car because it's my religious feelings that if it's my time to go, then when I get in an accident, it's my time to go and I'm just going to be done. But then they try to tie it in and say, well, if you go through an accident, then you don't die, then you have medical expenses, and then you don't have, you could have been preventative of those medical bills if you had worn a seatbelt. So therefore now your insurance company doesn't need to cover you, and the universal health care system doesn't need to cover you based on the subsidized stuff. So you know what? Everybody else is subsidizing your mistake because you didn't wear a seatbelt. So then they try to tie in everybody else for the fact that you didn't want to do something personally for you. This is all hate speech, according to them. This is all hate speech. Because if you don't think about the other people and do it for the others as the collective, as of the greater good mentality, regardless of what your personal feelings are, but it's for the greater good, if you don't believe in that mentality, then you are hateful towards the ones that you're leaving behind. And now we get to regulate you because of that mentality. When it used to just be if you physically assaulted somebody, then that was not even really hate speech, it's just you're being a jerk. And you should be able to retaliate because of that. I miss the good old days I miss the good old Western days where if you did something terrible to somebody, then they could take you out in the backyard and you do the rounds of beating each other up, and then it's all done. You get it out of your system, and then you're all fine and hunky-dory. That's now considered assault, but that was a lot easier times then, wasn't it? But we don't have that anymore. Now we need to have the law to try and protect ourselves from ourselves. We need to protect hate speech and stop hate speech. And then we define what hate speech is. They love to use those laws. It's very tricky, isn't it? Let's go back to the phones here, shall we? Line number 2. Good morning. Who's this?
Nate.
Hey, good morning, Nate. How we doing, sir?
Doing great.
Good.
Okay, go ahead.
No, what do you think? Passive or action? Should we be trying to stop hate speech, or should we just say, you know what, it's going to happen, and people have the right to feel however they want to, and we just got to let them be, and we just need to defend the right for everybody to have that freedom of speech?
Everybody has to have the right of freedom of speech. In my opinion, there shouldn't be any such thing as a hate crime, hate speech, or anything else. Because you're using those as tools to make a superclass of citizen. Somebody that, you can't offend them. You can't say anything that hurts their feelings. And you have this division. It's same with the hate crimes. It's either a crime or it's not.
Right.
It's either something that's going on that needs to be dealt with, or it doesn't. There is no hate this or hate that. It's crime or it's not.
Sure. No, that's a great point. I mean, we already have, it does really continue the divide, doesn't it, with the collective of we're going to stop this type of hate speech because this person is, or this group is hateful of this group. I mean, that's a very divisive thing. And there's a line between if you just say a nasty joke that's not appropriate and it's terrible, and why would you do that in the first place because you're a jerk, as opposed to I'm going to take it to the next level and go and vandalize someone's personal property and beat them up when they come outside. That's already against the law. Why do we need a hate crime attached to it when it's already hateful? I mean, it's against the law, and you broke the law by doing it in the first place regardless.
Right, and if they have this thing that they consider hate speech, to them, it's the same as if they're trying to do anything, so that justifies me to beat them up or to even take it above that and kill them because, they're hateful.
Right.
And then now you have politicians or somebody else deciding who's right, who has the special privileges for speech.
Sure.
So that's why it's either the law or it's not, right? There is no hate crime, it's just crime.
Yeah.
There is no hate speech, it's either speech. It could be offensive speech, and you deal with the stuff that's offensive as, well, that's not polite, maybe you shouldn't say that, or, kind of like what you were saying, back in the old days. Boy, I'm going to have to hurt you now.
Yeah, go out and just settle your score and be done with it, and then we can move on about our day. Therefore, we don't have to do the legal process, all this other garbage. Just say, you guys have a beef, go handle it, and then we'll be done with this. Yeah.
Right, but it cannot be justification for, like it is on the campuses.
Right.
They said something that offends me, so I get to get a baseball bat, break down the doors of the library, and then go prevent these people from talking because anything they say is hate speech, even though it's just
it's better than that.
They don't like.
It's better than that. They said something I don't like, so I'm going to break into the coffee shop and steal the Starbucks coffee.
Exactly. They're just using it as a license for lawlessness, and then they're being excused because somebody said something that offended them.
Now, wait a second. I thought conservatives were the anarchists because we didn't believe in big government. It's actually them.
Yeah.
The anarchist craziness, right?
Isn't it odd that now we have to worry about, you cannot offend. There is no right against offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
that's
right.
not one of the constitutional rights.
Sure. I'm right there with you, Nate. Hey, I appreciate that very much. Happy Friday to you, my friend. Great points. I wholeheartedly agree. I think that's what we need to get back to here is we need to remember, again, who's promoting. And by the way, just philosophically, not individually or party-wise or anything of that sort, because both sides have made really stupid comments in the past, but philosophically, hate speech, division, hating someone based on a superficial thing like a gender or a skin color or a heritage or whatever, that's a progressive mentality anyways, because look at it, when you divide people based on you're not a human being, you're part of the LGBTQ community. You're not a human being, you're part of the black community, you're part of the Asian community, you're part of the Native American community. That's divisive itself. That causes people to say, I'm part of this group, they're part of that group, therefore I don't like that group over there because they're different.
that division, that groupthink mentality, that lack of individualism, that's what causes hate speech in the first place. And then they're the ones that come out and say, oh, my God, there's hate speech. We're going to come down on the conservatives because they're a bunch of hateful jerks. Give me a break, right? Let's go back to the phones here. Line number 3. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning, Andy. It's Ron.
Ron, good morning, sir. How we doing?
Pretty good. And yourself?
Hey, we are living the dream every day.
Well, to me, they need to put a definition on this between what is hate speech and what is groups that actually advocate the destruction and ratification of groups of people, okay? There's groups like the KKK, the American Nazi Party, Louis Farrakhan, the New Black Panthers, MS-13. They actually advocate the eradication of people, different groups of peoples like Jews and blacks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And these people should be labeled by our State Department as potential terrorist organizations, as far as I'm concerned.
So you
okay,
think,
they
and
go
that's
beyond.
That's where we were trying to go. So you're saying that these organizations that actually do try to advocate for physical violence and the eradication of certain groups, they need to be dealt with. The KKK, we can't just say, oh, you're cute, just go do your thing, we don't really care about you. But no, you guys are a danger because even if you're not physically doing it yourself, you're advocating for others to do it and encouraging others to do really bad things, and we need to get that type of comments out of society.
Exactly. That you need to separate. You know, there's always people that don't like this or that. That's just human nature that goes on. You know,
sure.
You don't like him because you had a run-in with his brother or something like that, so you don't like him because of his brother or whatever.
And you're right. I mean, we need to get that out of society. The problem is, and the question is how do we define that line of what is a group that advocates for violence of, and then what is not? Because right now we see the progressives that have tried to redefine that to say that because you're just the sole fact that you are a Donald Trump supporter, or you are Donald Trump yourself, you are a Nazi, you are a bigot, you are closed-minded, and you are one where we should have the right to stop you and silence you and cut you off because you are one of those jerks, and we have defined you as such.
Right, exactly. Because Trump doesn't advocate destruction or the hurting some group of people, and that's what's wrong with it. They've just gone beyond the use of what the language is in this country,
sure.
The definition of things. But we do need to list these groups like MS-13 and Louis Farrakhan and the KKK and the
Antifa,
national. You know, Antifa and all those, they're radical terrorist group that really advocates overthrowing our government by the way they act.
Well, that takes it to, I mean, if you're going to put that definition there as well with taking down our country, then, I mean, where do we draw that line? I mean, progressives themselves with socialist ideals, they have the idea of tearing down our country based on what it's founded on. So, I mean, would that be labeled in one there as well?
Well, if they do it legally, trying to change our laws legally and things like that, no, I don't think that they should be labeled. But if they advocate violence to do it, then that's a different story.
Very interesting. All right, Ron, I appreciate that. I don't even know legally. I mean, how do you change? You can't. The Constitution is the Constitution. It's the rule of law. And if you go against the Constitution that you swear on as an elected official, and then you turn around and say you want to burn it and throw it out and start over, that to me, I mean, that's kind of that borderline right there too of where do we draw that line. So, very interesting comments. That's where it goes a little bit deeper into the rabbit hole. I love it, which is what we like to do here on the show. Got to take a break. We'll get some more of your phone calls. We'll get the latest update from the poll online. But it sounds like the majority of individuals wanting that freedom of speech defended no matter what. And then the violence that happens is already protected based on laws saying you can't do the violence anyways. Why do we need hate speech? Why do we need hate crimes in society when it's just people being jerks and causing crimes, and you punish them for the crime, not because it's a hate crime because someone was different of a skin color or something in that sense? We'll do your phone calls when we come back. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Live cattle futures settled mixed Thursday. Most contracts were within 30 cents of unchanged. Feeder cattle futures were steady to 62 cents higher. March expired at 141.97. The CME feeder cattle index up 20 cents March 27th at 142.35. Wholesale boxed beef prices lower Thursday. Choice boxes were down $1.55 at 227.44. Select 101 lower at 219.52. USDA estimates a week-to-date federally inspected cattle slaughter 475,000 head. That's down 1,000 head from last week, but it's 7,000 head larger than the same week last year. Lean hog futures posted limit losses in most contracts Thursday. April down 245. Today we'll have expanded limits. The CME lean hog index up 237 from the previous day at 69.50 March 26th. Pork carcass cutout value down 42 cents Thursday afternoon at 81.21. The national base hog carcass price 37 cents higher at 75.36. Week to date estimated federally inspected hog slaughter 1.901 million head through Thursday. Refocusing now on grains and soybeans. Corn futures are trading about a penny a bushel lower this morning. Calm before the report day storm, perhaps. Soybean futures are mostly 2 cents a bushel higher this morning. And wheat futures are anywhere from unchanged to 4.5 cents lower this morning, depending on where you look. As of right now, May corn down 1/4 cent at 3.73 3/4. July is down 1/2 at 3.83 1/4. May Kansas City wheat is up 1/4 cent at 4.39. July's up 1/4 cent at 4.47. Soybeans are green. May beans up 2.5 at 8.91 3/4. July beans up 2.5 at 9.05 1/2. Later months are up by about the same amount. We're seeing mixed numbers with the products. Meal is up. Soybean oil is holding steady. May bean meal up 70 cents at 307.20. May bean oil unchanged at 28.63. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
Hi again, everybody. Tony White, Augusta Flight Center. Want to talk about our flight training packages. Private pilot packages starting at just $5,900. Now that'll get you 47.5 hours in the aircraft, 2.5 hours on our flight training device, 45 hours of instruction, also a free headset and a free home study kit. For more information on this and other flight training options, visit our website at iflyaugusta.com, our Facebook page, or you can call us at 316-733-4080.
I am a customer of Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop at 1946 West 13th Street. In the heart of Riverside, Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop is the premier clock shop in Wichita, and that means a wide selection of clocks for sale. Hundreds of clocks of every different size and style. And Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop is also a full-time clock repair shop. He even makes house calls. 267-1925. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop.
Riverside Cafe, whether it's the 2 Wichita locations or in Derby, is proud of their all-day breakfast. It's what's helped make Riverside Cafe famous. And now for you early birds, from 6 to 9, you can pick any 4 for just $4. Sausage link, hash browns, slice of bacon, 3 silver dollar pancakes, quarter biscuit with gravy, a sausage patty, slice of buttered toast, any 4, only $4. From 6 to 9 every morning. Pick 4 for $4 at Riverside Cafe, 9125 West Central and 13th and Benning in Wichita, and 824 North Baltimore in Derby.
If it takes 2 to read the news, you're in the wrong place. Stimulating talk all day, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
We have a unanimous decision on Facebook so far with the poll there saying that we should not try and regulate in any way, shape, or form the hate speech or hate organizations, but defending freedom of speech at all costs, which is kind of interesting. It's understandable. But Ron brought up some really interesting points as well. If you're advocating, I mean, even if you don't do it yourself, it's kind of one of those, you whisper into the words or the ears of other people to say, hey, do this. It's a good idea. Kind of what terrorist organizations do, which is what he tried to say, that some of these could be and should be maybe labeled as terrorist organizations if you say, this person is bad because, and go get them. Go take care of them. Does that need to be regulated at all? Does that need to be stamped out? Or are they just harmless organizations that just spout really stupid ideas, and they have the right to spout those stupid ideas? It's just our responsibility to ignore them completely when they try and spout that stupid stuff. So your thoughts on this? Let's sneak in some more phone calls here, shall we? Line number 1. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, it's John Libertarian.
John the Libertarian. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Andy. Thanks. I think, we're all stand on free speech. Really, there shouldn't be any limitation short of actually inciting or trying to get people to commit violence. Other than that, you can say any stupid thing you want, and then it's up to the community to backlash against you, not the government itself. And this Smollett, the hate speech or the hate crimes, some of your callers earlier said that's just ridiculous, and they're right. If we're going to have hate crimes, though, shouldn't he be charged with one because he was falsely accusing others? And maybe you've covered that already, too, but I don't understand why we have the double standard there.
No, I'm right there with you. I think that should be considered a hate crime, as he faked an attack and then tried to label it as a certain grouping, Trump supporters, as a labeling of, and saying that's what's going on. The reason that he hasn't been charged with that is because the media says, well, that's going on every day anyways, and even though he didn't do it, or it didn't actually happen to him, it's an example to bring awareness to the issue of Donald Trump supporters being hateful towards others.
Right, and in the end, he's really getting exactly what he wanted, other than a slight bit of embarrassment. He's off scot-free. Everybody's talking about him. If this ends up being the career boost that he wanted it to be, I fear for America.
Hey, I'm right there with you, John. Appreciate the phone call very much, my friend. Happy Friday to you. We'll get our final numbers when we come back. Hour number 3. Stay here.
Joe and the guys at Carl's Goodyear, well, they are nice guys. That's the only way to describe them. Need new tires? Got you covered. Flat tire fixed? Done. Tune-up? Oil change? Brakes? Exhaust? Radiator? You get the idea. They do almost everything for your vehicle. They will also give you a ride when your car is in the shop. Nice guys who know auto repair, but above that, they know people and treat them like they would want to be treated. Carl's Goodyear, right on the corner of Market and Waterman, 264-5385.
The Laundry Station in Wichita is Kansas' premier laundry services provider. The Laundry Station has machines for all of your needs in the Wichita area. In fact, the largest machine can handle 10 loads at a time. And for those of you who are not do-it-yourselfers, the Laundry Station's premium wash, dry, fold service allows you to drop off and pick up your laundry the same day in most cases. Conveniently located in the heart of Wichita, on Oliver at Kellogg. The Laundry Station, and online at thelaundrystationks.com.
This is a Steckline Communications Station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Augusta Flight Center, with the largest and most diverse fleet of rental aircraft in central Kansas. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Good Friday morning. A California man is facing decades in prison when he's sentenced for making hoax emergency calls, including one that led police to fatally shoot Andrew Finch of Wichita. The sentencing for Tyler Barris today in federal court at Wichita. The 26-year-old has pleaded guilty to 51 charges related to fake calls and threats under an agreement calling for at least 20 years in prison. The mother convicted in the death of her 3-year-old son, who was found encased in concrete, was sentenced yesterday to 25 years in prison. Miranda Miller was charged with second-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, abuse of a child, and aggravated endangering of a child in the death of Evan Brewer. Cake TV reports Miranda Miller addressed the court during her sentencing proceedings.
All I ever wanted to be was a mother, and I have horribly failed at that. My son Evan has paid for my bad choices and my decisions.
As part of a plea deal, Miranda Miller agreed to testify against her ex-boyfriend Stephen Bodine, who was sentenced to 109 years for the boy's death. Evan Brewer's family members were in the courtroom yesterday, his aunt not putting much credence behind the tears of Miller.
She didn't fight for her son when he was alive, and those tears was just tears. It was her playing victim.
Wichita police say a 33-year-old man died after an accident at Kellogg and I-135 shortly before 10 o'clock yesterday morning involving an SUV and a car. Police say an SUV stalled out on eastbound Kellogg and was partially blocking eastbound lanes when police say the car, coming from the southbound I-135 ramp, struck the rear of the SUV. The man inside the car was critically injured and later succumbed to his injuries. 2 women and an infant inside the SUV were not injured in the crash. Look for it to be a wet Friday around south central Kansas, that followed by cooler temperatures for the weekend. I'm Rick Everett.
Now sports.
The opening day of baseball went great for the Kansas City Royals. They got 7 strong innings, 7 scoreless innings out of right-hand starter Brad Keller as the Royals beat the White Sox 5-3. Royals are off today. They resume the series with the White Sox on Saturday. 1:15 will be the first pitch. Gonzaga, Purdue, Texas Tech, and Virginia all punched their ticket to the Elite Eight, winning last night in the Sweet 16. Another round of Sweet 16 games happens today in the NCAA tournament. The Shockers start a 3-game series with Bethune-Cookman today at X Stadium. First pitch today at 12 noon. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Riverside Cafe is more than just great comfort foods. Riverside Cafe has amazing fresh salads, daily hand-breaded fresh catfish, and chicken strips. Burgers.
Burger.
The best in the business, and even veggie burgers for the healthy eaters. Riverside Cafe, breakfast all day, every day, daily specials, homemade hand-cut fries, fried chicken Fridays, and kids eat free Monday through Friday when each child accompanies a paying adult. Riverside Cafe, open till 8 Monday through Saturday, open till 2 Sunday afternoons, 2 Wichita locations, and 824 North Baltimore in Derby.
Hi ladies, it's Tiffany talking about my all-time favorite home decorating source, Jabbar's Flooring Outlet. You've heard of Jabbar's Flooring for years. They have the largest selection of carpet, tile, wood, and all your favorite floor coverings in the state. So what's new for 2019? Stop by Jabbar's this month during their Live in Style Customer Appreciation Month and find out. Take it from me, ladies, a real shopper, someone who loves a great deal and super quality. See Jabbar's for your new floors. Like they say, the smartest shoppers shop Jabbar's. 17th and North Broadway, Wichita.
Hatman Jack's at the Clock Tower in Delano. It's that time of year again when Hatman Jack's is receiving the latest in spring fashion for gals and guys, as well as moving out the cold weather hats and accessories at big discounts off normal price. Planning a spring getaway? Hatman Jack's has you covered with packable hats for travel, whether it's a cruise, a beach resort, or sun protection on the course. When was the last time you stopped in? There's only one Hatman Jack's at the Clock Tower in Delano.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
The collusion delusion is over.
At a campaign-style rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan last night, President Trump touting no evidence of collusion between his campaign and the Russian government. British Parliament will vote today on Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal for a third time.
The Labour Party have said that they will not be supporting the Prime Minister's deal, as have the Democratic Unionist Party, which prop up Theresa May's government. Whatever happens, it is sure to be dramatic and a fitting end to one of the most turbulent weeks in recent British political history.
Correspondent Bianca Nobilo in London. Pope Francis has issued sweeping new sex abuse legislation covering Vatican personnel and Holy See diplomats. The immediate reporting of abuse allegations to Vatican prosecutors and reporting to police is now required in alleged sex abuse cases. I'm John Trout.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Maximum Outdoor Equipment. All equipment outdoors, from lawnmowers to snowblowers. Just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Showers and storms, cloudy and 56. Tonight, a chance of rain and thunderstorms, cloudy and 37, but winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Still breezy for tomorrow, patchy drizzle before lunch, cloudy but gradually clearing, a high near 48. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:06, it's currently 52 degrees.
Gun Talk, Sundays 2 to 5, right here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM. It's time for Reason.
But there are very basic principles, and I call for the Republican Party to strip the Republican members of their party affiliation, because this is sad. This is not bravery. This is cowardice, because you didn't stand up for a basic principle of what you said you believed in. To run under a false flag, to fool the people of the electorate, to fool the constituents on what they thought they were voting for as a Republican and a member of the Republican Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on, baby, let's make it happen. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, hour number 3. The Voice of Reason broadcasting live live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting on YouTube. Check it out, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio. A lot of people jumping on back and forth throughout the show today on the YouTube page, which we appreciate very, very much. Subscribe to it as well. Watch us live. Watch all the podcasts. It doesn't really matter. But happy Friday to you. Free for all Friday. Let's do it. Come on. That means today is whatever's on your mind, bothering you, troubling you. Doesn't matter. Let's have some fun. Do the thing. Advancing conservatism each and every day. Right here. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. If you're going to join in, we'd love to hear from you. This half hour of the broadcast is brought to you by Wildwood Cellars. It's more than just buying a bottle of wine. Learn about the tips of where you can find the wine that you like, not the wine you're supposed to like. There's anything from the dry, the sweet, the semi-sweet, the meads, the numerous different flavors between the peach, the strawberry, the chocolate, all that good jazz, the jalapeno as well. You can taste it before you buy it. Try it before you buy it. Make sure you like it, because you will, and you'll be getting numerous bottles of them. It is nationally acclaimed vineyards right here in Kansas off the Turnpike in Mulvane, or right here in Wichita at Maple and Ridge. Online at wildwoodcellars.com. Again, wildwoodcellars.com. We always love having them partner up with us here on the show. We got a call. Let's jump on the phone calls real quick here. We have a guest in studio we're really excited to get to, as well as we have a lot to get to. But let's start off hour number 3 with a phone call. Good morning. Who's this?
Patrick.
Hey, good morning, Patrick. How we doing, sir?
I'm blessed, baby. How are you?
Hey, we are living the dream every day, my friend.
I just want to expand a little bit on your last caller there, John the Libertarian.
Sure.
I listened to several different shows, and I just want to make this point. This young man who tried to create this racial problem against himself.
Sure.
And I'm not going to name his name because I can't stand him. I can't stand anybody out of Hollywood, to tell you the truth, just a few people. But I just want to make it really clear, he's not getting off scot-free. And I'll tell you why, because I haven't heard anybody mention the fact that he put white powder in an envelope and mailed it through the United States mail to his cell. And that is a federal crime, and that can carry up to 20 years in prison. And the lady Fox up there in Chicago, even though George Soros funded her campaign to the tune of about $410 million to get her elected, there's pictures of Somet, and there's pictures of the Obamas, and all of them are buddies. And I'm telling you, I have a little more faith in our Department of Justice now.
Sure.
I truly believe that they are going to come down on him, and he's going to answer for federal crimes.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I'm right there with you. You hit it right on with the mailing of the powdered substance, because that is a federal crime. Now, he made a plea bargain locally, but you're right. As it takes to the federal level, that's going to be in consideration among everything else he did as well. So I think he's going to have a lot of stuff to answer for at the end of the day. Right now, though, he feels like he's riding that high horse that he got off with a lot of things and people upset, but it's not going to last very long.
Sure he does. And I just want to make one more comment about this person.
Sure.
And it is so obvious to me. He's the racist. Not me, not you, not John the Libertarian.
Right.
This kid is the racist, and he wants this to be continually stirred in this country, because I go out on the street every day and I talk to all people, everybody I run into. I at least say hi to them. And you know what? I don't run into anybody who just, scowls at you and just walks off. Everybody has been being nice about it. I don't know what else to say.
No, I'm right there with you. Patrick, I love that. I appreciate the call very much, my friend. You're spot on. And imagine that, a left-wing progressive that believes in the groupthink mentality and identity politics being the racist. It's a crazy concept. I know. That's wild. I'm really excited in studio here, and we get him in whenever we can, as he is a busy guy, but whenever he swings down to Wichita, I love having him here to talk about a lot of the statewide issues. But Mr. Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute. Dave, how are you, sir?
Good, Andy. Thanks
Oh, helps if I, hold on. It helps if I turn on your microphone there. There we go. I got a little flabbergasted there with the calls, but I love it. How you been?
Good, Andy. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you back here. So many things happening in the state legislature right now.
Oh, yeah.
That I have a hard time keeping up here. And some really good stuff, but the good stuff, we get a lot of excitement. We pass it in one chamber, and then it just kind of dissipates and disappears.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a frustrating session so far. There's, although not necessarily a surprising situation, because you have a lot of people who, in both parties, will run for office and say they want to, elect me and I'll do this.
Sure.
And then they don't do that, or they'll
Shocker.
say,
Yeah.
things like we need to have fiscal responsibility.
Yeah.
And things like borrowing money from a highway plan is bad, and not having a balanced budget is bad. Borrowing money from or not making payments to capers, but then they get elected and they go do those same things.
Sure.
So it's and that's why in some ways it's not really surprising, because at the end of the day you have to have a balanced budget, and the spending, if Governor Kelly and the schools get their way collectively, we're facing a $2 billion shortfall over the next 4 years. They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Wait, $2 billion with a B.
That's with a B.
Yeah, shocker. Now, this is coming from the idea that we're now going to a 1 year, but remember, we're going to a 1 year budget, so we have balance at the end of the year. We can spend some more money. We have the new spending base. We can increase some taxes. We can spend a little bit more money. I mean, come on, it's a great deal. She's changing the way the state's been operating, right?
She's doing what she criticized in the past. They can technically have a balanced budget this year because they started with some money in the bank. But pretty much every year going forward, they're spending more. The projection would have them, if everything's approved, they would be spending more than they'd be taking in, even though taxes are at record highs.
Sure. I love the comment that she uses all the time, saying that she is the one, even when she vetoes a tax cut bill, she is being fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible. And she said that during the campaign trail. She said it during her inauguration speech. She said it during her State of the State speech. And she said it during the speech when she vetoed Senate Bill 22. She is the one being fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible to get our state back on track to make the state great again by increasing spending and increasing programs and not cutting taxes.
It's kind of like socialism.
Yeah.
It sounds nice, but it never works.
Yeah. Funny how that happens.
It's just no government has ever spent its citizens into prosperity. It just doesn't happen. As Margaret Thatcher said, eventually you run out of other people's money.
I used the conundrum in the first hour was the GDP at the federal level, 2.2% growth in the fourth quarter, 2.9% overall for the whole year. They, of course, attacked Trump because he said he was going to get 3%. We got 2.9, but we didn't get that 3. So they love to rub that in the face. But at the same time, from the Wall Street Journal said that corporate profits are down for the beginning of 2019, which is slowing down the momentum of GDP growth. So this could be used here in the state of Kansas and at the federal level. What do we want? Do we want to hate on the evil rich corporations and praise when they're not doing well and have a worse economy? Or do we want them to profit and do well and then the economy do well as well because we want GDP growth? I think they're torn between the two, aren't they?
Well, they're not. No one really, state, local, federal level, they rarely talk about what they're trying to accomplish. It's easy. The question is, it's easy to say, wouldn't it be nice if we spent more money on pick your topic?
Sure.
Roads, schools, Medicaid, whatever. They never say, if we do this, what will we get out of it?
Sure.
How do we measure whether it was successful? And then if we go ahead and do it, how are we going to pay for it?
Sure.
And that's how you get into these situations, because it's like, sure, it's easy to add something else to the Christmas wish list.
Why not?
But you have to pay for it. And when you're spending other people's money, you better know what you expect to get as a result of spending that money. those discussions are rarely held.
There's a lot of spending that we want to talk about today between the education funding, which I'm very frustrated about, and I kind of got angry on the show a couple days ago because of that, between the Medicaid expansion, and right now President Trump announces he wants to take it to the Supreme Court, try and kill off Obamacare, make it dead, have a better plan, but repeal it fully. Right now we've repealed the individual mandate and a few parts of it. We want a full repeal of Obamacare. If we do that, why in the world would any state want to expand a Medicaid program that's dependent on subsidized funding from Obamacare that will no longer be there?
Well, that's a great point, because why would anyone want to expand a program even if the feds continue to pay 90%? But if you expand Medicaid and the feds roll back to, even if they say we'll pay you what we pay for regular Medicaid,
right?
Instead of 90%, in the case of Kansas, you're going to get about 60%.
And that's on a good day.
And so that means your cost goes from 10% to 40%. It's
Right.
going up a multiple of 4.
Yes.
No state that's expanded has come close to hitting its cost estimates. It's going to explode. It's exploding budgets everywhere. All these things, when people say, oh, if we do this, it's going to have this great stimulative effect. They've had 37 opportunities to point and say, look over here, this is what happened. They don't say this is what happened because they can't say this is what happened.
Sure.
It has to be on the speculation.
Sure.
And so now, but we do have a problem with a lot of people not being able to afford health care. And they're not all poor people. Health care costs have gone through the roof, partly because of Obamacare.
Sure.
So what can we do? The solution, and there again, if you go back to what are we trying to accomplish? What's the expectation? You talk about, well, we're trying to make more people able to get health care. We're trying to make it more affordable, more accessible. Are there ways we can do it without spending all this money? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that state legislatures can do to accomplish that. And there's several bills that have been introduced this year. Some have had some hearings. Ironically, one of them was about advanced practice registered nurses, nurse practitioners, allowing them to do more things that they're trained to do. That's the bill that was gutted to say, let's expand Medicaid.
Sure. Yeah, why not? Let's get rid of the good bill and then put in a bunch of garbage there. And we gotta take a break here in a minute as well. But when we talk about the options, and as you mentioned, I mean, I think medical bills and medical prices are actually making people poor. I mean, we see the number one bankruptcy in the country being medical bankruptcy because they can't afford these prices anymore. And it is. It's largely because of Obamacare. We had a bill that was, what was the Farm Bureau's, the Kansas Farm Bureau's option, not health care, but health option that they could do, that we've killed while we try and sneak in a Medicaid expansion. I mean, would that private option have been another alternative that we could have tried to experiment with here in the state?
There's a lot of different things that can be done. The state is looking at association health plans. The federal government has allowed changes to occur so that you can change, so that you can have small employers get into an association and be able to qualify for group insurance, or better priced group insurance. That's another one that's been stalled in Kansas.
Sure.
There's a state law that says, let's say, for example, your employer wanted to hire a doctor, have on staff, so that somebody feels like they're getting sick, you don't have to take a day off, you don't have to take it, you can go see the company doctor. Now, it might not be practical for a company the size of a radio station, but a company with a few hundred employees, they want to be, so you have something available on site.
Sure. State
law says only a hospital can hire a doctor.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And a lot of these things are about protectionism. It's so change these kinds of laws. There's so many different things that get in the way of people getting access to better and more affordable health care.
Just call me Dr. Hoosier. I got this. I'll take care of this. We'll get this all taken care of. Got to take a break here. 21 minutes past the hour. Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, hanging out with us here for this hour. We have a lot to get to between the Medicaid stuff, the other options we could potentially have, plus the education, which is crazy. We have the tax bill, Senate Bill 22. By the way, the veto override bill on that in the Senate is going to be on Monday, which means we need to be making some phone calls.
calls. What do you say? So we'll talk about all that and more. Your phone calls as well. A lot to get to here on hour number 3 of a Free-for-All Friday on The Voice of Reason.
Hey, you. Thanks for checking out my video. I do appreciate the time you take out of your life to go on YouTube.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
I'll see you later.
If you're using a cheap phone, it may be inexpensive for a very good reason from the moment you turn it on. Malware and spyware are secretly working in the background, tracking and reporting what you do, where you go, and worse. Kim Commando with your Friday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Get yours at simplysafekim.com. When you buy a new phone, you expect to see certain apps installed. But these free, pre-installed apps usually let ad networks dig for data gold. They're collecting information about your location, as well as harvesting your email, phone calls, contacts, and tracking the apps you install and use. Some cheap Android phones have a special Facebook app installed that, among other things, automatically downloads other apps. Where does all this info collected about you go? It's packed up, paid for, and sent straight to advertisers who then target you with ads. Anything free comes at a cost. I'm Kim Commando. Over the years, I've tried and tested every way that average people can and should back up the data on their computers. I'll tell you that iDrive is simply the best cloud backup service there is. 4 big reasons why. First, it's the easiest to use. I back up everything. All my computers, smartphones, iPads, tablets, everything to one single iDrive account. Second, it's the most secure. With iDrive snapshots, I'll never lose even a single byte of data. Never pay a penny because of ransomware. Third, get your data to the cloud fast with iDrive Express, a free shipping service where once a year, iDrive will send you a physical drive. You load your data on it and ship it right back. Your data will be in the cloud within a week. And fourth, it's cost effective. If you're using any other cloud backup or storage service, switch to iDrive today and get an amazing 90% off the first year. Use my name, Kim, as the promo code. That's iDrive.com, promo code Kim.
Here's some simple math for you. Chevy cars and trucks just cost less at Countryside Motors in Wellington. You want the best price on a Silverado in Kansas or Oklahoma? Check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Are you looking for that perfect SUV? They have the great selection of Buick Enclaves, Envisions, and Encores, again, at the best prices anywhere. Countryside Motors in Wellington. Folks, it's simple math. For the best prices on cars and trucks, check out Countryside Motors in Wellington. Online at countrysidemotors.net. Simple math. Best prices. Come on out to the country and save. Countryside Motors in Wellington, Kansas.
We could call it Barney's Grocery, Barney's Home Medical Supplies, Barney's Diabetes Supply Store, or Barney's Deep Discount Drugs, but we'll stick to the name that Wichitans have been trusting since the 1980s, Barney's Pharmacy at Central and Zoo Boulevard. Open 6 days a week for your shopping and prescription needs, and open 24/7 online at barneysdiscountdrugs.com. And Barney's is your headquarters for Now Vitamins, your Health Mart Pharmacy, and so much more. Barney's Pharmacy, Central and Zoo Boulevard.
The Miller Minute with Dennis Miller.
I want to talk about President Trump's approval rating. 50% as of this week. Can you believe after this long, crazy Knott's Berry Farm coaster of a first 2 years that it is at 50%? I think there's one thing that people can agree on in this country. They're both shocked at that number. I'm shocked it's not higher. Honestly, he is rough around the edges, but solid at the core. This is all common sense stuff to me. Who doesn't want a solid border? Who doesn't want better jobs? Who doesn't want North Korea that's not testing weapons? Now, on the other side, they're shocked at the number. They can't believe it. They think he's Adolf Hitler or Putin's puppet. It is madness. I think, though, there's probably more people out there hiding what they think about Trump than coming forth with it. There's no payoff for you going all in on Trump in public. But I'm going to do it anyway. That's the Minute. I'm Dennis Miller.
If you haven't tried the delicious, high-quality meat from Butcher Box, you're going to be blown away. Butcher Box brings you unbelievable flavor and unparalleled nutrition. They work closely with farms and companies committed to raising animals humanely. This ensures an ethical process, one that results in better quality, better taste, more nutrient dense meat with no added hormones or antibiotics ever. From grass-fed beef to free-range organic chicken to wild-caught sockeye salmon from Bristol Bay, Alaska. ButcherBox has over 20 different cuts of meat. And ButcherBox comes at an affordable price with free shipping. You can get a month's worth of the best-tasting meat from ButcherBox for less than $6 a meal. ButcherBox is offering my listeners free ground beef for the life of your subscription and $20 off your first box when you sign up at butcherbox.com/Dennis. butcherbox.com/Dennis. That's butcherbox.com/Dennis.
Join your digital pro every Sunday at 11. The Kim Commando Show on the Big Talker, KQAM.
27 minutes past the hour, a few minutes before the bottom of the hour. Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute, hanging out with us here for a little bit on the program. And going into the bottom of the hour, you guys came out with your score just, about last week, I want to say, your grades for the schools.
Right. So this is the second year we've done this. What we did is translate the state assessment scores from, they put them out like in level 1, level 4. That used to be labels like approaching standard. People don't know what that means. So we translated the scores into labels everybody understands, A, B, C, D, and F. Mm-hmm. We just used their cut scores, their definitions, and translated those into letter grades. So it's really eye-opening. And the reason we did it, Andy, is a false impression of high achievement is perhaps one of the biggest barriers to improving public education in Kansas.
Sure.
And it stands to reason. If you think achievement is really high, why would you want to change something and risk upsetting the apple cart, so to speak?
Sure.
But achievement isn't all that great. So just translating these scores, this year we graded buildings, not districts, but buildings. So over 1,200 buildings across Kansas. No building got an A.
Oh, well, nice.
No building got an A. 11% got Bs. 54% C's, 30% D's, and 4% F's. So, but that's all buildings together. So you had 34% D's and F's. But if you go look at the 10th grade scores, there you have 64% of 10th grade scores D's and F's.
Wow. Now,
64%.
So wait, so all the money that we spend on the buildings already, they're still not even up to the A level, and even with the B and C's that are in system, that's still not even helping with the test scores. What a shocking concept. Let's talk more about that when we come up. We got to take a break here, but yeah, that's B's and C's for the school buildings, still D's and F's for the average scores. Huh. Have to put maybe we should spend more property tax money on new buildings and AstroTurf for football fields. Maybe we should do that.
Well, it's not. We're not grading. We're grading the students that are in the building.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, the students. Yeah. We'll do that when we come back. Got some of the calls on the line. Stay here. This is The Voice of Reason.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
Citing his continued stance on collusion with Russia by the president, all Republican members of the House Intelligence Committee are calling for Democratic Chairman Adam Schiff to resign.
Not going to happen, said Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And Pelosi added Republicans want him gone because he might turn up something damaging to the president. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
Pope Francis issues new sex abuse legislation covering Vatican personnel and Holy See diplomats. Reporting of abuse allegations to Vatican prosecutors and to police is now required.
The Vatican, remember, is its own country. So this is binding on people that are working at the Vatican, living at the Vatican, and in the Vatican's embassies abroad.
Diane Gallagher in Rome. Parents accused in the college admissions scandal make an initial appearance in federal court in Boston today. Actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, implicated in the scam, are scheduled to appear next week. I'm John Trout.
Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing text messages. Message and data rates may apply. Texting privacy rules and terms and conditions at textrules.us.
Has dinner got you down? Sick of awful frozen meals or unhealthy fast food? Don't despair, because Martha Stewart is doing a free taste test, giving away 3 full-sized meals from her new meal kit delivery service, Martha and Marley Spoon. All fresh ingredients with Martha's delicious and easy recipes. You're eating in just 30 minutes. To be part of Martha's at-home taste test and get 3 free meals, be one of the first 100 people to text the word fork to 246-810. It's so easy. Text us now. Martha and Marley's spoon meals are easy, simple, and delicious. And right now, Martha wants you to enjoy 3 of her best 30-minute meals for free so you can save time and enjoy eating dinner again. To be part of Martha's at-home taste test and get your 3 free meals, be one of the first 100 people to text fork to 246-810. That's fork to 246-810. Fork to 246-810.
Good Friday morning, Kansas Mid-America Network News. 2 top leaders of the Kansas Highway Patrol are leaving that agency. Governor Laura Kelly announced yesterday in a news release that Colonel Mark Bruce, the agency's superintendent, and Lieutenant Colonel Randy Moon, an assistant superintendent, have resigned. Kelly said Shawnee County Sheriff Herman Jones will take the agency over. The governor's spokeswoman said she couldn't comment on the departures because they were personnel matters. 3 Kansas State University students who were banned on Wednesday from the Kansas State House for a year have been reinstated. The Kansas City Star reports Capitol officials yesterday reversed the ban that was imposed after the students helped hang large banners saying top Republican legislators who oppose expanding Medicaid have blood on their hands. Capitol Police Officer Scott Whitesell says he imposed the ban because the students violated a policy on demonstrations. Mid-America Network News.
Ag producer, get a jump on spring equipment efficiency now in your downtime with MJ's Truck Repair at Mound Ridge. Now's the time for farm machinery downtime maintenance and diagnostic services. So when the crops are ready to go into the fields, you're ready to get going. With diesel engines our specialty, MJ's also takes pride in superior gas engine repair and custom work on all implements. MJ's Truck Repair, under the big American flag off I-135 in Mound Ridge.
Coming spring 2019. Hail.
Ouch.
Oh.
Wind. Freezing temperatures. Tornadoes. That's mayhem.
Hi, I'm Mark Collier, your local Allstate agent. We're your insurance agency interested in doing what's best for you. Before mayhem strikes, call us at our Goddard office, 316-413-4014, and find us on Facebook at Collier Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Autocraft is proud to call Wichita home for 40 years. We are local and family owned. We believe using locally owned businesses is important to maintaining a healthy community. Local faces being there for you long after the job is done. Autocraft uses local suppliers whenever possible. Eco-friendly products, giving back to local charities, putting that extra smile on someone's face. Autocraft invites you to join us to keep it local. So let's work together to grow a strong and healthy community. Be sure to visit us at autocraftinc.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Showers and storms, cloudy and 56. Tonight, a chance of rain and thunderstorms, cloudy and 37, but winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Still breezy for tomorrow, patchy drizzle before lunch, cloudy but gradually clearing, a high near 48. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:35, it's currently 53 degrees.
This is Alex Jones. Join me Sunday evenings, 5 to 7, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM, Wichita.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier, your personal political therapist. Give him a call at 721-TALK.
Welcome into the Voice of Reason, wrapping up the program today, 35 minutes past the hour. It's an honor to have you along for the ride today as we wrap up and have some more fun each and every day. Dave Trabert hanging out with us, Kansas Policy Institute, 316-721-8255. I hear that you guys have been growing and expanding at the Kansas Policy Institute to where now you actually are working on the legal side of it, challenging some of the shenanigans going on in the state.
We are. Earlier in January, we took over the Sentinel, so that's now our subsidiary online news service that holds media and government accountable. And just this week, we started the Kansas Justice Institute. It's a nonprofit public interest law firm. And basically, the Justice Institute is going to represent people where government has intruded into their lives, violated free speech, property rights, and so forth. You know, the kind of people who really can't afford to take on government. Like, you had your property seized, and the police said, "I think you're using that envelope of cash, Andy, for some nefarious purpose.
Right.
I'm taking it."
Right.
And then the way it works now, you have to go try to get it back from them.
Sure.
And most times it's not successful. We just had another one in. We had a free speech case that's before the legislature right now. You may have heard last summer the U.S. Supreme Court had a ruling in Janus v. AFSCME where they said it is not constitutional to require a public employee, someone who works for government, to pay union dues as a condition of employment because the union bargaining is everything they do in bargaining is essentially political. So you're forcing me as a union member to use my dues to support something I might not believe in.
Right.
And so, and Kansas is a right-to-work state, so public employees can leave, but they've not been allowed to leave when they want to. So, for example, the NEA application says you have to notify by August 10 if you want out for the coming school year. So you decide you come back to school in September and decide, I don't want to be a union member. Too bad, you have to pay dues until August.
Sure.
So that's arguably not constitutional any longer with the Janus ruling, so we're trying to get the law changed. We actually brought Mark Janus in to testify with us.
Sure.
Mark was a child care worker for the state of Illinois. He was the one who won that case, won his case. I mean, the attorneys represented him. But that's the kind of thing we want to do. So we hope we can get this law changed so that public employees have they have the right to choose when and if they want to be a member of a union. And if they do, that's fine.
Sure.
But if they say, I want out, they should be able to get out today. So if they can't, and we can't get the law changed, then the Justice Institute would be in a position, as an example, to represent people who have been denied right to access their free speech.
I love you guys are doing that. We did talk about the right to work a couple weeks ago with that case when it came into the news, and the fact that the union, I'm looking out for your best interest, but I'm going to dictate when you're allowed to join, when you're allowed to leave, what you're allowed to do. I mean, to me, that is a little ridiculous. So I'm glad you guys are fighting that, because that's, I think, a fight that needs to be had here in the state to really make a stand.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
thanks.
very good.
So we hired a Kansas guy to run the organization. We have a couple of Wichita attorneys. We have a separate league, because I'm not a lawyer.
Sure.
So we have a separate legal advisory council. We have George Bruce with Martin Pringle here in Wichita, Bob Howard with Folston Sifkin working with us. And so we're doing we're expanding that. So we're going to have a council of lawyers and law professors who are going to be able to advise on cases and who to hire and so forth.
I have a case for you.
Do you?
I do. I think we should be able to get gas-guzzling cars without environmental regulations on them. And that is a violation of my freedom to choose whatever daggone car that I want without the government telling me you're limited to these options that are environmentally friendly.
Well, there's, and this is why I'm not a lawyer and why we need lawyers involved, because you don't have a right to drive.
Sure.
So government can enforce. Now, whether it's a common sense regulation or not is a different matter. But
I may not drive it, but I should have the right to own it and drive it in my field and not on the roads.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a constitutional question that's kind of above my pay grade.
We'll have to dive a little bit deeper into that one. I love it. Going back in real quick, actually, if you want to put on the headset, we do have a phone call here for you. 316-721-8255. A lot of stuff happening right now. Line number one on the studio phone lines here. Good morning. Who's this?
Scott.
Hey, Scott. How we doing, sir?
Well, two things. When he said to get arrested, because the Constitution does allow you to travel.
Hey, Scott. Scott, I tell you what, try and call back later. The phone's kind of muffled there. I can't hear you. Try and give us a call back a little bit later. 316-721-8255. I'm not sure what he's trying to ask there. But let's go back to the education thing for a second here. You did the grades. The education funding debate has gotten to a point of absolute frustration for me. This is never going to end.
Yeah.
We heard this year we were going to draw the line. We were going to stop the shenanigans. We were going to actually fix this. Now I hear that we're going to do the $90 million funding, or $90 million per year funding On top of the $500 million that we've done before, we're looking at close to another $1 billion into the system. I wonder if they're going to say, oh, finally, we have enough money, or, oh, no, just it'll be fine for this year, but next year we need more.
Yeah, it's hard to say what the courts, because the court hasn't followed, well, it's not following the Constitution, let alone common sense.
Right.
But there simply isn't the votes. There are people in both chambers who want to stand on and defend the rule of law, which does not give the court the right to appropriate money.
Sure.
But in fact, the 1994 Kansas Supreme Court said that the Kansas Constitution does not require any particular level of funding. That language in the Constitution says have a system of funding, like have a formula.
Sure.
Well, they have that. This court says, no, we think it means we can tell you what to do.
Sure.
So, yeah, there are people who do want to stand up for that. There's just not enough votes in either chamber to get that passed. So they probably will end up spending some money, but $90 million and more. I mean, what has already been approved is over $1 billion when it's all filtered in. And so this is going to add another $90 million a year. And the plaintiff school districts are saying, oh, no, that's not near enough. What they want, in addition to the $1 billion already approved, is another $1 billion over 4 years.
Over 4 years, sure.
Over 4 years. That's what they're asking for. So, and that's a big piece of why we're facing a $2 billion shortfall over the next 4 years from having a legal ending balance budget. The sad part of all this, even if we had the money, and we don't, we already have very, very high taxes, is none of the money is required to be used to actually educate kids. So, the court says, and again, this is one of these bizarre kind of teenager logic almost. Well, you have some kids below grade level, therefore you must not have enough money.
Right.
But so what happens a few years from now? And they still because the achievement isn't changing. Our ACT score is lower than it was 20 years ago.
Sure.
Our National Assessment of Educational Progress, reading proficiencies, barely changed in 20 years. So, in a few years, you're going to see more. You're still going to have a large number of kids below grade level, and they're going to say, well, I guess we don't have enough money. And the court's going to say, I guess not.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to have politicians pretending, well, we can somehow find another big pot of gold and not have to raise your taxes.
Well, here's the thing is that you're right. And in 4 years, I don't know what excuses you're going to come up with other than they don't have enough money. But that's been going on for 30 years already. We should be able to look 30 years back, 20 years back, 10 years back and be like, has it gotten any better? We've sunk in so much money since then. We don't need to wait another couple of years.
Right.
All we got to do is look backwards on what we've been doing for the same argument for the last how many years, and it still hasn't gotten any better. That should be right there the prime example of, hey, you guys aren't doing what you need to be doing here.
Yeah. There is not in Kansas, not in any other state, is there anywhere you can look and say, all we did was add money, and that caused the achievement to improve.
Mm-hmm.
There's example after example after example of states that spend less and get better results than Kansas, or spend a lot less and get about the same results as Kansas.
What are we at, about $14,000 per student?
This year it'll be over $14,000 per student. They're looking for something that would be north of $16,000 per student. Yeah.
16 grade. Is there another state in the country that does that?
There are, sure. There's New York's over 20,000 per student.
Oh man! And see how well that's working out for them.
It's not money. The this is the 20th anniversary of the Florida reforms. They started this 20 years ago. Florida had some really horrible scores. And Governor Jeb Bush said, we have to do something about this, and we have to stop looking for the silver bullet, the let's spend more type of single policy solution. They put in a broad range. One of them was the A through F grading.
Sure.
We need more transparency. We need people to understand where we are. And it wasn't money. They've now pulled ahead of Kansas. They used to be one of the worst in the country. Now they're ahead of Kansas on the National Assessment of Educational Progress in most of the measurements, and they spend almost $3,000 per pupil less.
Oh, my gosh. You would think that that would be an example of us saying, hey, maybe we should look at what they're doing and try to mimic that kind of system.
Of course. But, when you suggest things like that, Andy, the answer that's thrown back at you is, why do you hate kids?
Yeah, pretty much. Why do you hate children? You hate children and puppy dogs, Dave.
If you love them, you would spend more money on them.
Golly, I tell you what. It drives me nuts. We got about a minute or so left here as we wrap up. But between this spending bill, which is going to hopefully not go through, but it sounds like it may, between the Medicaid expansion, where hopefully it doesn't go through, but they use the gut and go in the House. Hopefully they don't do the same thing in the Senate, and they try and sneak it through. But this tax bill, Senate Bill 22, which a decent bill, I guess. I mean, it lowers sales tax on food by 1%, which is about $1 per $100 that you spend. So thanks, I guess. But to prove a point that taxes need to go down, do you think this is going to get overridden with the governor's veto, or is it going to stay?
No, there's not. I don't think there's enough votes to override it.
I don't think so.
I don't. And so it's, the sales tax reduction is on food is one element, but it's the big money for SB 22 is preventing the tax increase that already occurred.
Sure.
Because of changes in the federal windfall, if you take the larger standard deduction for federal, then you can't itemize for Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
There were caps that were put in place. On the business side, all of a sudden, Kansas wants to tax companies on profits they made somewhere else.
Sure.
Foreign profits. And so, we're still in our fourth consecutive decade of economic stagnation. More tax isn't going to do it. But SB 22 would have prevented over $100 million per year tax increase on individuals and businesses. That's what she vetoed, along with the reduction in the food sales tax.
Well, come on, we need the revenue so we can spend that on Medicaid expansion or schools or something.
The profile is talking about where we were $2 billion short. If that all gets approved, we would be spending $8.6 billion in the general fund in 4 years. 2 years ago, we spent a little over $6 billion.
Good golly. But we just don't have enough money, and we're on skeleton crews right now because we are way less than what we used to do, right?
Yeah, we're still massively overgoverned in Kansas at the state and local level.
Just a little bit. Dave Trabert, Kansas Policy Institute. If people want more information on you guys or some of the stories you guys come out with, how can they reach you guys?
KansasPolicy.org. That's where the A through F grading is. There's one of the initiatives. Just look under initiatives. We also operate the Sentinel, or sentinelks.org. And the Justice Institute website is coming up soon. So,
hey, you guys are expanding all over the place.
We are.
I love it. Well, good luck. I'm so glad that you guys are doing that, and keep up the fight. We'll get you back in here again soon.
Thanks, Andy. Always a pleasure.
Hey, always a good time. Got to take a break. 10 minutes at the top of the hour. We'll get your phone calls when we come back. Wrapping up the week. Lots more to get to here on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier. Opening markets on KQAM. Brought to you by Schmidt & Sons of Mount Hope and Winfield.
Mixed in the livestock, and we're calling it mixed in the grains and soybeans as well. It's time to take a look at the markets as we start our Friday. Brady Charles at Schwieterman Incorporated has the information for us this morning. Good morning, Brady.
Good morning. Mixed start in the grains with the corn and the wheat just slightly lower, beans slightly higher, and much of the same in the livestock, with April live cattle up 7.5 cents at $126.60, June up a nickel at $119.72, August up 2 at $116.52. April feeders are down a dime at $145.85. May is up 7 at $149.75. April lean hogs down $1.40 at $77.47. In the grain markets, May Kansas City wheat's down a penny at $4.37 1/4. July is down a penny at $4.45 3/4. September's down 1 1/4 at $4.57 1/4. In the corn market, May is down 3/4 at $3.73 1/4. July is down a penny at $3.82 3/4. September's down 1 1/4 at $3.89 3/4. May beans are up 3/4 at $8.90 1/4. July's up a penny at $9.04. Nove's up a penny at $9.24 3/4. May bean oil's down 4 at $28.59. The meal up 30 at $3.0680. Oats are up a penny at $2.65 3/4. Cotton's up 86 at 76.73. And the Dow's up 112 points at 25,850. This has been Brady Charles from Sweeterman Incorporated. For questions on these markets, any other markets, and all your marketing needs, please give us a call at 800-272-9131 or visit us online at upthelimit.com.
You can tackle all kinds of jobs around your place with dependable, high-quality Kubota equipment. This is Leroy, the tractor man from Schmidt & Sons, inviting you to join us for our Kubota Ride and Drive event on Saturday, April 6th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at both Mount Hope and Winfield locations. We will have food, drinks, and prizes. We have a full line of Kubota equipment, and you can get in the driver's seat. Utility vehicles, compact and high-horsepower tractors, lawn and garden tractors, zero-turn mowers, hay equipment, and farm implements. Take advantage of low-rate, long-term financing promotions going on now with Kubota, like the Kubota BX80 series that gets you any job done right. Dig, mow, haul, and it comfortably maneuvers in tight places. Get a BX80 for 0 down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Don't miss the Ride and Drive event to get the best deal. We look forward to seeing you at Schmidt & Sons on Saturday, April 6th at Mount Hope or Winfield. Find more information at schmitting.com.
Now through June 30th, 2019, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Waring and Fiegel Optometry at 2121 North Tyler, number 302, has a selection of prescription sun eyewear that's so bright everyone can be wearing shades. Waring and Fiegel Optometry has the names in sun eye apparel that people seek. Prescription eyewear from Maui Jim, Oakley, Wiley X, Rudy Project, and even sunglasses from Amphibia. Squinting in this beautiful sunshine doesn't have to be a thing. What are you wearing? Waring and Fiegel Optometry, 21st in Tyler.
Coca-Cola was introduced in 1886.
And 99 years later, New Coke debuted in 1985.
Ooh! Proving sometimes change is a good thing.
Other times not.
In new home building, millions of feet of lumber and sheathing are used every year.
And here, too, a big change is taking place.
But unlike Coke, it's definitely for the better.
25 years ago, 90% of the sheathing used
for roofing and subflooring was plywood.
Today, it's only 30%.
And rapidly losing ground to OSB, or oriented strand board.
Made from wood scraps and smaller, younger trees.
Recycled plastic lumber for decks and fencing is gaining ground, too.
Reducing the need for chemically treated lumber.
And naturally durable wood now down by 15%.
Other products and technologies are helping too,
such as vinyl and fiber cement siding,
laminate flooring, vinyl windows, and fiberglass doors.
Anytime you can save a mature tree, you're doing a good thing.
Woodman, spare that tree.
For more tips, visit our website at onthehouse.com.
Did you know your concrete porch and steps, patio, pool deck, garage floor, even your ugly laminate countertops can be resurfaced with real stone as easily as painting? I'm Peter Deitch, president of Deitch Coatings, and I'm here to say you can. Tastefully accent surfaces all around your home with just a roller and a brush to achieve beautiful, high-performance stone finishes that last. Why wait? Deitch Coatings are available to you factory direct and online at homedepot.com. Plan your next project at DeitchCoatings.com. That's D-A-I-C-H Coatings.com.
This is Jim Bohannon, and you're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on The Big Talker, KQAM.
5 minutes to the top of the hour, wrapping up the show. I can't believe it's done already. It's a Friday. It's a free-for-all Friday. I'm glad. Hopefully you're enjoying and doing the thing. We're having fun doing our thing, and welcome in. This portion of The Voice of Reason, as you know, is not just a free-for-all Friday, but is also a Fried Chicken Friday brought to you by the Inman Harvest Cafe, 112 South Main Street, downtown Inman, where they have the great chicken, the fresh homemade breading, all the good stuff. Lunch buffet 11 to 1, dinner buffet 5 to 8 o'clock tonight. Katie's on the line with us here. Katie, happy Fried Chicken Friday.
Good morning, Andy. Happy Fried Chicken Friday. It's kind of raining here, so it's okay.
It's global warming.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? I just spent like 8 hours at a track meet last night where it rained and blew wind on me the entire time. I guarantee you that is not called global warming.
That's probably global warming because AOC wants to put efficient green stuff on the fields there out there. So there you go.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, you should do like an AOC special deal meals or something there. I don't know, and it could be like the energy efficient stuff.
Well, it would have to be vegetables because, like, we serve a lot of beef here, and if we're going to eliminate cows, that's going to be detrimental to my business.
No, but it's got to be a tribute to her. So you make the biggest burger you have is the AOC burger.
With lots of butter and cheese and all of that good dairy stuff, because we only use real dairy. We don't use any artificial nothing. And so, like, if she eliminates cows, I'm out of business, you know.
Yeah, well, see, that's why you got to do one in tribute to her and make it the biggest, like, triple burger patty thing that you can have with butter and everything and cheese all over the place and say, this is the AOC Green Deal here. The Green New Deal. I love it. Anyways, you guys have the lunch buffet 11 to 1, the dinner buffet 5 to 8 o'clock tonight. The fried chicken is rolling out there. The roast beef is going on tonight. What else do you have on the slate today?
So today we've made up a meatloaf, and that's in the oven. Actually, we made up several meatloaves because, you know, meatloaf, it's not that big. So we made a lot of them. And so we'll have meatloaf. We're also having a kind of a new creation that I'm working on. It's a creamy Caesar carbonara. So it's chicken, it's bacon, it's cheese, it's Caesar flavoring with little mushroom sauce. It's not mushrooms, it's just mushroom sauce, and then maybe some peppers and onions. I don't know. I like to mix it up.
I like it. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
That's a great way, especially with the rain today. I mean, that's kind of a hearty meal.
Yeah. We like hearty.
We do like hearty. That's pretty good. Now, along with that, you have, as you mentioned, the roast beef, multiple of those. We never mentioned the salad buffet either, and you do have the salad buffet that's there, and you can load up on that. Because, I mean, after eating all that hearty stuff, it is really refreshing and good to have a nice salad, too.
Sometimes, and we've got the full salad bar, and then we also make a variety of, like, mixed salads, like a broccoli salad. We got a pasta salad, couple different kinds of coleslaw, and those are all homemade. None of them come out of a carton or a box. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah, all of that stuff's included, plus the pie.
We can't forget pie. Oh, you can't forget pie. Pie is so amazing, and it's the free slice of pie tonight for dinner from 5 to 8 o'clock. Grab it when you walk in so that we can grab your slice and sit down. But what kind of pies do you have today?
So today we've got coconut cream, peanut butter, sour cream raisin, rhubarb custard, banana split, cherry cream cheese, Dutch apple, pecan, and cherry.
What's the difference between apple and Dutch apple?
Well, okay, so a Dutch apple is like got the crumbs on top, and a regular apple's got crust. And to some people that's really important because the crumbs have oatmeal in them, and some people are just like violently opposed to oatmeal, kind of like mushrooms. They're violently opposed to it. And then other people are like, I don't eat apple pie unless it's got crumbs on top. So,
interesting.
Whatever. We try really hard to, you know, cater to all tastes.
You pander to both sides of the aisle on that one. Yes.
Yeah,
all
we
right.
try.
I like it. All right. I never knew the difference. Didn't even know there was a difference between Dutch apple and apple pie. I love it. It's the Inman Harvest Cafe, your free slice of pie. Go get it for 5 to 8 o'clock tonight. The lunch buffet 11 to 1, dinner buffet 5 to 8 o'clock tonight. You guys are rocking it. The fried chicken smells amazing all the way down here in Wichita. It's 112 South Main Street in downtown Inman, the Inman Harvest Cafe. Katie, you guys enjoy. Happy Friday to you.
Thanks, Andy. We'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Always a pleasure there. That's it. That's us for us today. It's all done. Everybody, hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back on Monday. State Representative Christy Williams talking about some of the education stuff with her deal, leading the education committee on that. We'll do that on Monday. Have a great weekend.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Continental Truck Accessories, 6701 South Broadway. Show your truck some love with Continental Truck Accessories.
Good Friday morning. A California man is facing decades in prison when he's sentenced for making hoax emergency calls, including one that led Wichita police to fatally shoot a Wichita man. Tyler Barris is set to be sentenced today in federal court at Wichita. The 26-year-old California man has pleaded guilty to 51 counts related to fake calls and threats. Wichita police say a 33-year-old man died after an accident at Kellogg and I-135 shortly before 10 o'clock yesterday morning involving an SUV and a car. Police say an SUV stalled out on the eastbound Kellogg lanes and was partially blocking the lanes when police say the car coming from the southbound I-135 ramp struck the rear of the SUV. The man in the car was critically injured and later succumbed to his injuries. 2 women and an infant in the SUV were not injured in the crash. And 25 years in prison, the sentence handed down to Miranda Miller yesterday, the mother convicted in the death of her 3-year-old son, Evan Brewer, who was found encased in concrete. I'm Rick Everett. Now sports.
The opening day of baseball went great for the Kansas City Royals. They got 7 strong innings, 7 scoreless innings out of right-hand starter Brad Keller as the Royals beat the White Sox 5-3. Royals are off today. They resume the series with the White Sox on Saturday. 1:15 will be the first pitch. Gonzaga, Purdue, Texas Tech, and Virginia all punched their ticket to the Elite Eight, winning last night in the Sweet 16. Another round of Sweet 16 games happens today in the NCAA tournament. The Shockers start a 3-game series with Bethune-Cookman today at X Stadium. First pitch today at 12 noon. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
For nearly 2 decades, NextEra Energy Resources has proudly partnered with Kansas to fuel economic growth. Yes, friends, today that company's looking to continue that growth by developing a new wind energy center in Reno County. Hey, I've personally met many folks at NextEra. They're good people. The company's doing a lot of good in our state. The Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center will contribute millions of dollars to Reno County and create hundreds of good-paying jobs. Wind energy, you know, is very compatible with farming, and the Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center will add great value to the community. The Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center represents an opportunity to harness the natural American wind resource, improve local roads, schools, and help residents provide for their families. Folks, the Pretty Prairie Wind Energy Center means a big investment in Reno County and a big boost to the local economy.
This is John Sidoric with Heartland Avionics at Augusta Municipal Airport. With a $500 rebate available from the federal government for your ADSB installation, the mad rush is on. And at Heartland Avionics, we have 2 of the most popular brands pre-wired and ready to go, minimizing your aircraft's downtime. Heartland Avionics is also a certified dealer for many other ADSB installation options. Call Heartland Avionics or learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Riverside Cafe, whether it's the 2 Wichita locations or in Derby, is proud of their all-day breakfast. It's what's helped make Riverside Cafe famous. And now for you early birds, from 6 to 9, you can pick any 4 for just $4. Sausage link, hash browns, slice of bacon, 3 silver dollar pancakes, quarter biscuit with gravy, a sausage patty, slice of buttered toast, any 4, only $4. From 6 to 9 every morning. Pick 4 for 4 at Riverside Cafe, 9125 West Central and 13th and Benning in Wichita, and 824 North Baltimore in Derby.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.